welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Big kick actually from our lead rider at the moment. That is an early breakaway. They've got some sliding room on to the climb at the moment. The world champion Jason Osborne waits in this pack. He knows that the moves are going to start to go. And in fact, it's Trojanski who's gone clear on the front. He's attacked early here. We're looking at our rider number one on the road. It's Ricky Kittle up at the front of the race. That's something that we got used to saying this month. He's clear at the front of the race at the moment. He's got 6 seconds to the nearest rider. He's currently at 34.2k. Currently on the climb of the Hawk Hills. Category 6 riders trying to respond here. It's going to drag them up towards John Back as Horsley puts in a massive dig here. He wants to push his way up to the wheels of John Back here. He gets onto the wheel. Now, can any of the Category 6 make the most of this? One man who clearly is not slowed by pretty much anything, Maciej Mendakowicz. He had got a gap. He's still holding the gap. Koskierski along with Rios, Betty, Dan Graves and co. The big chasing pack in Category 2. Here comes the banner. This is the run for the line. Less than 300 now. 200 meters to go. The sprint's unwinding and Pegasus has got 12.5 watts per kilo. Kennett's coming in at 16. Will the track sprinter have his day? Dylan Kennett's got the climb jersey. He takes the win here today. It's qualifier race number 2. It's going to be a win today in Category 6. The first rider over the line underneath the UCI banner in Japan on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Mikhail Pastula, your race winner. It's qualifier race number 3 of 4 qualifiers here on the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh in March. And Osmar Vaz is going to claim his first victory here on the Sunday Race Club. He takes the win. He goes underneath the UCI banner. Your race winner, Ricky Kittle, is going to come in and across the line. The Category 6 race winner is Ricky Kittle on qualifier race number 4 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Horsley's out in the saddle. He's got 4.7 watts per kilo to his name at the moment. He's coming around this left-hand turn. Surely he's going to do it. The banner is just round this left-hand turn. Here comes the banner, the UCI banner for MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. Kevin Horsley takes the win in Category 5 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم. MyWhoosh وتحركنا من بطل العالم جيسون أوسبورن بقميص بطل العالم يتحرك الآن. عملية هجومية يقودها جيسون.
نشاهد هنا وصول الدراجين من الفئة الأولى إلى عدد من الدراجين من الفئة الثانية من هم في ذيل الكوكبة من الفئة الثانية، وهنا أيضا محاولة من الفئة الثانية، ولكن بالي ينطلق خلفه أيضا يبتعد ب 38 ثانية. بولندي يبتعد عن الكوكبة ب 38 ثانية في آخر 13 كيلومتر من السباق. هنا نشاهد وصول أيضا الفئة السادسة كابتن عبد الله إلى خط النهائي والسبرنت الأخير الآن بين داليان وبين أندرياس. نعم، متسابقين على خط النهائي وسبرنت قوي بينهم، والنهائي لداليان النيوزيلندي الفوز والقميص الأصفر، ويرفع السرعة، يرفع الواط الآن ويحتفل بعد 50 متر تقريبا بالفوز اليوم لأول مرة. والقميص الأصفر لميشيل البولندي المركز الأول للفئة السادسة بالسباق التأهيلي الثاني من شهر مارس. الاحتفال الآن والقميص الأصفر. أما هنا الفئة السادسة أوسمار باز يبتعد وبعدما تقلص الفارق إلى 12 ثانية، ولكن يحافظ على الصدارة الآن. أوسمار باز المتسابق البرازيلي المركز الرابع في الأسبوع الماضي يفوز الآن بالمركز الأول والقميص الأصفر، والاحتفالية الفوز لأوسمار باز. ريكي ينطلق إلى خط النهاية، هذا الأسترالي هذا النيوزيلندي لكي يحصل على المركز الأول اليوم في فئته بعدما كان ثانيا في الأسبوع الماضي. وبالفعل اليوم الفوز للفئة السادسة لريكي كيدل النيوزيلندي والقميص الأصفر والمنقط. الاحتفال بالفوز خلفه مباشرة براين وايت، ويدخل أيضا براين بالمركز الأول. ينطلق بقوة 44 السرعة 45 السرعة، والكوكب بالخلف تقلص الفارق لثانيتين، ولكن يصل الآن في هذه اللحظات إلى النهاية والمركز الأول ويخطف الفوز والقميص الأصفر لكيفن هورسلي.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And yes, it is the 1st of April, not the 1st of April as in April Fool's Day. It is April and it is qualifier race number 1. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you may have spotted that we have deliberately played you the men's rewind because we thought it would give you a little bit of an insight into what's happening in the men's race. And we're going to do the same with the women's in front of the men because we always do the rewinds for the people who've probably seen the show. And we thought, do you know what? Let's show each other exactly what you're going to be getting up to and what else is happening on MyWhoosh. And there's lots more as well because Super Try was on at the weekend. So please do have a watch of that. Lots of great things happening in MyWhoosh. It is qualifier race number 1. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be taking you through all of today's race action. Today we're coming from Hudariat Island. Today's course, it's a long one, 40.5k for our women's race with 250 metres of ascent. As you can see, as you look through the race route, 4 sprints and 1 climb segment. The climb segment is the one segment in terms of climbing that is eligible for the fastest through the segment prize. The 4 sprint segments, also the same prizes for fastest through the segment in each of our race categories. Overall for the sprints, overall for the climbs, and of course the overall race winner in each 6 categories. Prizes individually across all those. It's qualifier race number 1 for April, and of course we have our finals at the end of the month for which riders have to ride 2 qualifying events. The course today is predominantly flat. Do not discount the hills on the way through, though. You can see there are a number of bridges to be tackled, and these actually are quite tough. They have been instrumental in breaking the races up in previous editions of this race, in both the women's and in the men's courses. And I think we're going to find the same's going to happen today. So watch out when we get in to the first of those bridges at 7.2 kilometres. Now we have 6 race fields here today, 6 categories. We've got a huge category 6 here today, 178 riders in total on the women's race, 22 teams. 3 of those teams in category 6, Kitty Hawk Racing Team, Jessica Hamilton, Katja Jaskalainen and Rona Tagilon representing the Kitty Hawk Racing. Level Cycling Warriors, they're going to be captained by Angelica Lemberger. And of course, Level Phoenix, so Camilla Botero, Daniela Londano, Lisa Hopkins, who hopefully has recovered from her barbecue yesterday, and Rachel Hooker, also part of that Level Phoenix squad. Other riders to watch out for, Samuel Brook, 3rd last week. Watch out for Dominique Shelbar, 5th in last week's race. Liz Smithson 4th in our finals. Funichko and Sarasuk was 2nd. Joy Mayer 1st. But today is a very different course. It's time to crack off and start the racing in April here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. Category 6 up and away, out from the pens here and taking to the start line. This quick left-hand turn will take the riders and head them across on to the main section proper, onto the main part of the course. And as you can see already, up to 40 kilometres an hour. Limburger already accelerating up. A rider with a good race last time out, and the rider from the United Arab Emirates at the moment leading this long field out at pace. It's a long line of riders, and you can see that on the top right-hand side of your screen. That is the radar view, as we see that turn coming in, stretched out at the moment, and anybody caught napping is going to have a big effort to put in to get back in with this group, because it has really rocketed out from the start, being led by Labarga, then Array, followed by Kwap, Joy Mayer, Sudbayo, going through. It looks to me like this is going to just about come together. There are 1 or 2 riders, though, in trouble at the back. And for a race that is 40.5k long, category 6 at the moment, now feeling the pressure in our very first kilometre, 800 metres done, and look at the damage being done here. And already the power that's being put down here, Lumbaga has really taken this out at pace, and it's being picked up here by Alray as well. As she comes over the top, just drops off the pressure. You can just see the watts per kilo dropping down a little bit there as they start to ease a little bit. 37 kilometres an hour at the moment. So making the way across the boardwalk And as we take a little bit of a look in and through, there's some big names been caught out. It looks like Jeske Leinen, one of those riders, has already been caught by this, sitting at 4 seconds back. You could still be in the group though, and 4 seconds down. Such is the stretch on this group on the top right-hand side of your screen. If you are just joining us in April, welcome to the Sunday Race Club. We have 6 race categories in each and every one of our Sunday race clubs. And at the moment, as you can see, we've just got one of our riders on our screen. That's Adriana Barker. Barker taking a look down at the main screen. Got a nice big screen. They're going to be able to take in the data. The data really important. Sat there on the Colnago, which, very nice bike. Going to transfer a lot of the power straight into the smart trainer. And to be able to get all that power down, and that power that is registered on the smart trainer then shown on the screen, currently putting it out between 120 and about 150 watts consistently, whilst in that group peaking at about 200 for Barker as she goes down. And you can see that Barker's avatar is the one that we're watching. It's highlighted in blue in terms of the right hand bar where we see the riders around Barker, and you can see that across the center of your screen as well. Top right-hand side of your screen are the radar view, the course profile. You can see it's a little way till we get to our first riser. And, of course, you can see the position of the rider, which is 10th out of 101 or 11th out of 101. With Jessica Hamilton. Now, Jessica Hamilton is our sprint specialist, and we really do see Hamilton dominating this sprint competition. Now, Hamilton at the moment tucked in with this lead group. The group's still fractured, as you can see from the radar view. And that is not going to aid with this sprint because you need to be in with the leading group to be in with the chance of being in with the fastest group coming into the sprint. But you want to be at the back of the fastest group, and that's very, very difficult to do. You see the chase here by Londano, just trying to close the gap back down again. That's the leading group in front, and at the moment, having to work hard here and just feeling the pressure, feeling the pace. In front, Hamilton just easing off has come into the sprint to go to the back of the group. Now she kicks from the back of this group, using the drafting as she comes in through here. The Watts 656 watts kicking out there at peak, so well over 650, now up to 685. That was a change of gear there. Now into the win. The Watts go into black rather than green numbers on the top of your screen. She's continuing to push here. Going to close down on Al Rai. I think that's going to be Hamilton's. She gets the green jersey. She takes that sprint segment. And I suspect, even though the group behind is a big group coming through at speed, they won't challenge that time. We'll have to see. Second group comes through the sprint line. And at the moment, it's still Hamilton holding the sprint position. Now, second of our race fields away. This is a Category 5. We'll run through our Category 5 riders once we've got them up and out from the pen. So Category 5, the first step up from our standard Category 6. It's a smaller race category. 37 riders in Category 6, 25 riders in Category 5. Those categories dynamics give close racing for the riders in each and every group. So getting those groupings right, a real key part of the skills done by the team at MyWhoosh. Just in with Palmer Mongeli and watching these riders going away at 37 kilometers an hour. So at the moment, the race field out and on to the race course. Just seeing Karolina Chizikowicz in here, Lopez in as well, Zabala, Alzate, Ferron, all the regular names that we see in Category 5 now. And this is one team racing in Category 5 this week, and that is going to be the Wheels of Fire team. Elena Lopez, the rider representing them. So we'll have a look and just do a double check of that. I think the team in the production, got to say a big thank you to them. Back with them for year number 4, first show of year number 4, my goodness. Wheels of Fire team, indeed, they're confirmed for us. You can see in that blue jersey, light blue jersey for all of the riders in Category 5, rather than the purple of Category 6, red for Category 4. Then it is a dark blue for category 3, and then we're on to the green of category 2 and the yellow of category 1. So Wheels of Fire team, Elena Lopez heading up the squad. You can see Lopez just sitting behind Mongelli at the moment, this leading group all together in the race at the moment. Myra Madeira in there, Zabala, Hoyos and co. Now, in terms of riders last month, we have saw some really, really strong riding. Just in with Palmer Mongelli at the moment, the Italian rider, just taking a quick look down at the screen. Got the big headphones on. Really interesting. A lot of riders liking to ride with music, to ride with the race commentary. If you are riding with the race commentary, hello. Good to have you with us. But of course, also to communicate with the team. Now, a lot of the riders will use either earbuds or they might be using over ears with a small over ear. Don't often see people with the big headsets on. I always find them really hot. When I'm riding with the big headsets on. So I must admit, I'm a big fan of the shocks that give you the bone conduction. It's just a little bit cooler on the way through, but Mongelli there with those big headsets on, we never know, might be blasting out something to keep the pace nice and high. At the moment, certainly nicely in this group. Now let's go back to the riders who really were scoring well. Angelina Roa, really good. First place last time out. Palmer Mongelli, second place last time, the rider that we were just in with, second in last week's race. And we're looking to see what she can do on this course with that climb at the end. Our fourth place rider, Katie Bago, down on that start list. And I think I've seen Katie in the list. Sandra Ferron, fifth place. The Brazilian rider, fifth last time out. But this course is going to be a really interesting one because of that final climb and how the riders approach that. Personally, my tactics would be to sit in and on every single short, sharp climb, every single short, sharp hill, really sprint over it. Now, those are the bridges that take the riders in and out of Hadaria Island. They are as big as they look on the screen when we're riding through. You can see Category 6 just approaching the big Hadaria Island sign there. It does exist in real life. It is that big. It is right in your face, and it is a fantastic place to go ride. Cannot recommend enough. Head out to the UAE, take your bike, and go ride some of these iconic places that we see on the Sunday Race Club. So, two race starts up and away, Category 6 and Category 5. We're going to move across to our Category 4 riders. We've got a number of teams here today. We've got the CD Racing Team 4, represented by Juana Leo. We've got Tamiris Vieira in with her racing as well. Pedal Queens also have two riders, Gina DeGrazia and Tanya Howeiler, both regulars on the squads for the Pedal Queens. The Power of Red, and it is the red jersey that our Category 4 riders are wearing. That is Veronica Ciciola. And, of course, we've got Randy Gino for the Rhinos squad racing as well. Ciciola was third last time out. Watch out for Angel and Hadlock, second last time. Altafuha, a fourth place. And do not discount Hannah Pekakova, who took a fifth place. Time to go racing in Category 4, third of our categories, third of our 6 categories up and away out from the pens. Now, will they do a Category 6 race start where we saw Limbaga ripping it to pieces and causing all sorts of problems? Are we going to see more of a Category 5 start? It is a 36 rider race field, so almost slap bang in the middle in terms of numbers sitting in between Category 6 and 5. But interesting to see maybe a little bit more considered start, 36 kilometres an hour from Category 4 as they head out from those pens. And if you compare that to the 40 plus kilometres an hour out from the pens of Category 6, you can see a very different race start here, given that this is a big race field, given that as we move up through the race fields, we expect the speeds on average to be higher as well, because of course those riders are able to produce more watts, more power for any given weight, and generally their maximum power is also higher. The algorithm on the way that the speed is calculated takes into account the height, the weight of the rider. Now, when you're on the flat, it's about pure power, and it's about being able to get that power down. Good to see Hannah-Pekka Kova here. Hannah, one of our regular riders, great rider, and one of those strong riders who we know is always going to be in with them. It's a 5th place. Will she beat 5th place this time? Hannah, are you going to go above 5th place this time? We will have to find out. So there, you can see that she's got the screen on the right-hand side with the race on there. Got the course profile as well in front of her. Got the towel on the bars and the race screen. Plenty of medals in the background. We always love it when riders have their medals in the background because it's a real inspiration. That Pekka Kova at the moment nicely tucked in this group, and you can see the focus there on Pekka Kova's face. So keeping a check on the screen, making sure she's staying in the draft, keeping the big Watts numbers. They're the green numbers at the moment in that green, and saving energy by sitting in the draft. The more you can sit in the draft, the more energy you save, the more you have left to use where it is needed. So Kekkonen in here, Stemmen, Simon, Goodall, all in here. Kristen Hamilton is in, Hamasan in here. Good to see Musa Al-Mansouri. And now Musa Al-Mansouri, this could be a course that will suit her. Natalia Idzik, another strong climber in category 4. Joanna Warren. Again, one of the great things that we've seen here is a lot of these riders have not only ridden this platform for a while, but they know how each other are racing and how they're likely to approach this. And that makes being able to mix it up different. And by mixing it up, it's changing your tactics. Gina DeGrazia is a great example of this, actually. Gina, great sprinter, a really good kick on her. And been racing really well outdoors as well. Been great to see her results on social media. Now, Gina DeGrazia, great sprinter, changed her skill set and up to a level by taking the skills from her sprinting skills and moved it across and really attacked the climbs. And we've seen that from her by changing it. We see that from Lee Sophie Arama as well. Another rider who was initially sprinting strongly and changed across. And this is a great course for that. That final climb today is 4.4 kilometers long, but it's a stepped climb. And that means that you can sprint on the steeper sections and really put an effort in there and then recover on the flat. Or you can take the other option, and this is, I have to say, where tactics are going to come into play. You can go just below your max and keep it under control on the steep sections, but then accelerate over the crest of the steep sections into those lower gradients and really rock it away. So getting that tactically right is going to be key when we get there. Long way to go, 35k to the start of our first climb. Category 4 just going into the sprint as Category 3 away. Category 3 will be in with those riders in the moment. You see that countdown is on. Category 4, Vieira really has gone hard hit. Gina DeGrazia, though, well, living up to that sprint title, but there's a massive kick coming from behind. Randy Gino has gone hard here, and Randy Gino has been able to take sprints plenty so far in the Sunday Race Club. It could well be Gina's Pekka Kova has gone through, though, with the fastest time. So Hannah-Pekka Kova holding her powder dry till when it was needed. Now let's quickly jump in with Category 3. Our team, CD Racing Team 3, represented by Liliana Silva. We've got the Freewheeling Spirits represented by Valentina De Segna. Now, Team Golden Light, well, it is a Golden Light. And the yellow team, Leonie Dijkstra from the Netherlands in there. Away go our riders. We're in with Laura Taconis at the moment. Number of riders moving up into this race field. Rosalina Barragan moving up from Category 4 into Category 3. Stephanie Briggs is one of our Category 3 regulars in here. Good to see her in, despite I think it was a 3:45 in the morning race start for Stephanie Briggs. So morning. I know it's very early in the morning in some places in the world, and it's very late in the day in others. I'm currently in our Full Speed Event studios in France, where the time currently, well, 9:45 in the morning. So a quite civilized time. Not civilized enough for me to have tea, though. Still on the coffee, despite production being on tea. I'm definitely a coffee drinker instead. We'll see who's been on the espressos and who's just been sipping on the Earl Grey as this pack move out. At the moment, it's definitely a chilled out it's more like a herbal tea than it is an espresso at the moment. 37 kilometers an hour for category 3 in with Catherine Montoya. You can see that's a relatively steady race start as category 3 move away. Now, riders to watch out for. Some great performances by lots of these riders. Ones to pick out: Holly Bergin, regular coach on the MyWhoosh live coaching. Do jump in with Holly. She's one of our regular coaches. Rebecca Johnson has been a rider that we have watched in each and every category she has raced in. And Johnson not only races the Sunday Race Club out and around the world, and in fact is quite legendary for racing out and around the world, wherever she is in the world, but also a rider who really improved her climbing. And this could well be a course that today is going to suit us. You'll need to surf those wheels and save that energy. Just in with Rebecca. She's not out and about in the mountain tops at the side of a camper van, out in a far-flung corner in the world. That looks more like the regular pain cave for Rebecca. You can see focus down on the screen, the fan blowing to make sure that cooling effect is happening there, and just tapping out 90 revs per minute, 89 revs per minute at the moment. We can see that top centered, the rider's stats, just to the right of the watts, which are currently in green, saying that she's sheltered from the draft. It's 90 rev per minute. So tapping along a nice, efficient rhythm there as well, looking pretty smooth with those revs as she makes her way in and through. Good to see that we got Lam Kong in here. Good to have Lam Kong back in racing with us from Hong Kong. One of our real regular wins. If she gets a sniff of a race victory, do not discount Lam Kong from any of the top of the race positions. Last time out, 5th place was taken by Eva Essler, a 4th place for Wendy McAlpine, 3rd place for Hannah Hakkinen, and a 2nd place from Julia Montgomery. Bridget Kittle moving up into category 2, not going to figure in today's category 3 race. All the categories so far have been separated by 5 minutes at the race starts. That's category 6 to 5, separated by 5 minutes. Categories 5 to 4, separated by 5 minutes. 4 to 3 is separated by 5 minutes. And then we have a 10-minute gap to category 2, then 5 minutes to our highest category. Category 1 is the top category. That's our elite category. So 6 is standard. And then when you perform and you get those results and you've got the power, then you move up into category 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and then category 1, a bit like a football league might be, with category 1 being the highest, or a Premier category. Now, in with Lorena Beltran, another of our regular riders, the Colombian rider. You can see it's dark outside at the moment, so definitely a rider having to potentially not worry about the cooling as much. Depends on climate. We've got riders from out and around the globe. So great to see our Colombian riders out here. So it's Lorena Beltran, another rider who could well figure on the climb. I think a rider also who is known for putting the power down when the pressure goes on. Now, all the riders need to react. And you see Lorena Beltran out of the saddle here. Now, whether or not she's going for the sprint, the problem that you have here is even if you're not going for the sprint, you do not react and you can be in trouble. You get distanced out here. Beltran out of the saddle here, kicks on down, nicely tucked in with this group. She's answered the call. You can see the effort on her face here. And she digs in deep. The pace of this group, nobody wants to be left behind. The sprint shaking things up. It's not just about that fastest through the segment time, which gives you that segment prize. It's also about being in the group. Now, has anybody saved something? Is anybody going to counter-attack over the top? The traditional road tactic. Everybody puts the effort in for the sprint. You save a little bit of something, surf on the wheels, keep with the group, but then attack over the top, carry momentum. You can make life hard for all those riders who've just gone deep. Well, at the moment, looks like everybody content to get this group back together again. So Davidson, Montoya in here. In fact, it is Montoya who has got the green jersey. So great riding by Montoya to take the green jersey. Catherine Montoya riding in the green skin suit, the sprint leader. The points are 5 points for first, 4 points for second, 3 points for third, 2 points for fourth, and 1 point for fifth. That's in all of the sprints. With 4 sprints, even with my absolutely appalling maths, that means that the maximum points you could take if you took all of the top spots would be 20 points at the moment, 5 points going. to Montoya in Category 3. They're the last of our riders who've set off so far. Right-hand side of your screen, you can see Category 6, the riders furthest out on race route, just coming back in fact, in the opposite direction to Category 4. Category 6 at the moment being led by Limbaga, Shalbois, Alhai, along with Joy Mela, looks Sudbeo, as well as Smithson nicely in this group here. As they make their way down, you can see some of the riders who've been distanced from Category 4, just coming in the opposite direction. That Category 4 race fractured, but this is the leading group at the moment. That looks like 7 riders to me. And at the moment, these 7 riders have got a gap to a number of chasing riders and a number of chasing groups, but at the moment, it looks to me like Shalwa Al Arai, along with Limbago, Sudbayo, and Bremner, Smithson, and Joy Mayer, your leaders in Category 6. One rider looking like they may just make contact behind. This is a good chase coming from behind. We are currently at 12.6k, and it's Ange Quap. I was surprised not to see Quap in the leading group. A really, really strong rider, but can Quap get back in touch? She's got to get back onto those wheels quick. We're currently at 12. Okay, so we're over the rises of the main bridge to and from Hudariat Island. And currently our next sprint, which is realistically the next trigger point for an attack, well, that is the Hudariat Wonders sprint at 17.5 kilometers. Good chase here by Quap. She's got 15 seconds on Solazano and 30 to Barco, so going to make contact. In with Gina Grazia, the rider who proved that there's, it's not always the commentator's curse. Gina, rider who really, really has improved. Very impressed by Gina's racing, by her riding, and racing really strongly outside, as do a number of our riders. The Filipino riders who come from the Philippines have always been a real force to be reckoned with on the Sunday Race Club and also outdoors. I'll tell you something, Gina De Grazia is climbing her transfer really good. You can see at the moment, they're taking a real big deep breath there, or wanted to make sure that she gets that recovery done, ready for the next section is to come over the top of the bridge down into the descent. That climb being led over the top there. De Grazia now drops into the group, going to do the recovery. And this bridge, you can see, riders going in both directions here. It really is a tough climb. Having gone both ways on this bridge, actually out to Hadaria Island when we're out for the World Championships. It is a really big, long climb over here. And we do see that on races out on the road as well as out and about. On the Sunday Race Club. So Category 4 just descending down into Abu Dhabi as we go in with the penultimate race category to go. This is Category 2. The CD Racing team represented once again, this time by Anna Caramello. We've also got the core racing team, 4 riders from them. They really can play the team tactics with Dorothy Gonzalez-Reyes, Joanna Kalman, Carolina Kokolowitz, and Sophie Giovanni. The Pure Daisies have 2, Fem van der Vliet and Jenny Eck, as do the Racing Rockets, 2 riders for them, Christina Schneiber and Maria Marb. The Racing Roos are headed up by Katie Banerjee. As we said earlier on, Bridget Kittle moving up into Category 2. Jimin Prado second in the race last time out in the race today, as is Kelsey J. Van Shaw, the rider who took 5th place, and it's Jade Van Shaw, Kelsey J. Van Shaw, the rider we're in with as Category 2 go out and race. They hit the Hudariat course here today that will finish with the ascend climb. Category 2 making the way from race start. They set off 5 minutes in front of Category 1, who are the last group of riders to go. That's the last set of riders left down in the pens in the yellow jerseys. The green jersey, though, of Category 2. Nicely moving away, and a very controlled race start here. You can see that bunch almost blob-like. It really is a round circular group. It's like a big ball of fish in the ocean, rather than being stretched out and heading off at speed, which is when you tend to see that long line. You can see that at the moment, everybody matching the speed. And it's quick, 39, 40 kilometers an hour, but everybody able to do that as we move up through those race categories. So heading across the boardwalk, Category 2 starting to head out. We get to see plenty of the riders out on race route. We also get to take a look out and across the ocean here in Hidaria Island. In with at the moment Bridget Kittle. Now, Bridget Kittle moving up category. Always interesting to see how riders do. Some riders take to the higher category like a fish to water. Some people need a little bit more acclimatization, a little bit more transfer time, and it can be a tough ask. But Kittle at the moment looking comfortable, tapping out nice rhythm here, keeping it nice and smooth. And it is going to be interesting to see how Bridget Kittle goes with our Category 2 riders. A rider who I expect actually, because she's got the skills to surf the wheels, because she knows what she's doing, she rides this platform enough to actually be able to modulate their effort. This actually, I think, is not going to be, maybe it's half hers, it could be for other riders because she's got the skills to make it count. So Kittle clearly watching the screens as well. Good to see Bridget here. And a pretty, I'm liking the wood background. Nice bit of biophilic design there. There's a word for the morning. So not just all metal and glass and stainless steel, lots of natural materials, allows you to focus your energy. It lets you be more at one, more relaxed generally. Although how relaxed any of our riders are going to be at the end of this race is yet to be seen. So Category 2 away. They are our latest riders out from the pen. Currently 1.5 kilometres covered by the riders in the group. Just one rider just laying off a little bit here at the back of the group. Now joined by us are two riders just a little off the back of the pace. Just in with Jennifer Gottlander. Jennifer, one of our massive contingent of Swedish riders. The Swedish esports racing scene is absolutely huge. And I tell you something, they keep on producing incredible athletes like Jennifer Gottlander. I'll be interested to see where she's going to put in the pace. She's a rider who we see up at the front of the racing on a regular basis. So will today be the day that we see her attacking off the front? Will it be a day where she goes maybe on one of these bridges that we go over just to make the rider hard? She's certainly not afraid to take the racing on. Currently into her 12th Sunday race club. Currently one win to her name. We're going to see if that's going to be two. She doubled her win ratio. She scored her win in Category 3 in March, in Qualifier 2 in March, but having moved up, a rider who definitely is going to be taking on the big guns in Category 2. Just in with Brittany Litton. Now, Brittany Litton is a very experienced rider here on the Sunday Race Club. 65 participations in the Sunday Race Club, according to our records here. And Brittany Litton, one of the real Pied Pipers of the Sunday Race Club, are really inspirational to a lot of riders. And going to be very interesting to see if she really rips it through this sprint. She's out of the saddle here as the sprint winds up, as they're coming in and through. She's 2 wins in the Sunday Race Club. 6 second places and 4 third places. Can she keep the power down all the way in and through? Is she going to take away and transfer the green jersey to a green skin suit? And are we going to see a counter attack over the top now? Gonzalez Ruiz, the rider who's taken the green skin suit. 6 riders have gone through with a little bit of a gap. We'll go back to them to see whether or not they have made that count very shortly as we go to Category 1 for race start. We have our usual teams in here. The Ablock International, 4 riders for them. Kulczynski, Hermansen, Holcroft, who was second last week, and Soderstrom, the fully calibrated squad. Van Heuling, Supernova, Van Hove, and Massey. The Sweat Sensations, Felt, Fua, Bruni, and Meyer. Fua 5th last week. The Thundercats team of Gabby Guerra, who's on storming form at the moment, 4th last week. Last week's winner down on the race start, and away it is the world champion Mary Kate McCarthy and Cornelia Engstrom back up into Category 1 once again. So good to see her yo-yoing back into the top category once again. Category 1 up and away. The world champion represented with that white jersey with the iconic rainbow bands on her back as they make the way out from the pens. Maria Holcroft, absolutely flying at the moment, taking a second place last time out. Going to be interesting to see how she goes on today. It's a very different course to many of our courses, with that relatively flat run across to the main climb. Although the bridges are tough, they're not that long. They only about a kilometre and a half or so to absolute max. So then they are tough, but they're not enough, I think, to break the racing up. Fur at the moment, out and away. Some fantastic social media from Catherine Fur during the week. She's back indoors at the moment and back on the bike at the moment, but have seen Catherine out in the outs doing some incredible descending, some fantastic skills on show from Catherine Fur, the rider at the front of the race. Of course, medalist at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi in October. And the World Championship date was announced a little bit earlier in the year. It's going to be in November this year. I'm sure we'll see Catherine in action on the World Championship stage once again. Now, in with Cornelia Engstrom, talking about inspirational riders, and you can see Engstrom in there. She's definitely an inspiration. Liz Van Heuling, one of our most experienced riders, and was racing with us in the very early days of the Sunday race. So good to see her back in with us again. She's been back with us a while at. Definitely a rider that we know can mix up 41 races, 33 Sunday race clubs to her name. Van Heulen, 11 first places. That's not a bad strike rate, is it? A third of the Sunday race clubs that Liz Van Heulen has raced, she has taken a win in. That is not bad going, and it shows you what a competitor she is. 7 second places and 2 third places makes it 19. Nearly 2/3 of the races that she has ridden, she's been on the podium. And in fact, if we make it a top 5, it is 2/3 of the races she's been top 5 on the Sunday Race Club. That is an impressive performance. Nearly as impressive as Gabby Guerra's. Guerra, a more recent rider to the racing, so very difficult to compare the two. But Gabby Guerra, definitely a rider to watch out for, particularly on this climb. Very similar number of rides actually on the Sunday Race Club, 29 rides, 5 first places, 14 second places, 4 third places. So when you total those, in fact, of Guerra's participations in the Sunday Race Club, almost all of them, pretty much the norm, is to take a podium. In fact, if you add up the Sunday Race Club podiums and the top 5 performances, you actually find that Gabby Guerra's only missed the podium on a couple of occasions. Fantastic record. Will today be the day where we see her back on the top step? Not maybe where she would want to be, 4th place last week. Difficult course, though, to get the timing right as much as anything last week. And you cannot be on the top all the time. Not even the world champion is going to be on the top all the time. And that's been proved by Guerra's victories. As we come into the sprint, big kickoff on the sprint. It is a chance to shake up the racing. The pace picks up here. 47 kilometres an hour by Paulson. She's chasing the absolute sprint legend that is Bridget Falensky. Falensky goes through. That has surely got to be the green skin suit. It is. Each of our categories taking the sprint through the segment gets you the maximum points. You get that green jersey and the green skin suit for sprint leader if you do so on the first one, and then it's about the points after. So let's see a summary of our riders who have taken the sprint jerseys in each of our categories. The fastest time belonging to Hannah Pekakova, the rider that we saw on our screens in category 4, taking away the fastest time, 19.335 seconds. Sub 20 seconds for that first sprint. The question will be, can Hannah Pekakova repeat that as she makes her way through this race? It's going to be very interesting to see. Hamilton generally repeats her sprints all the way through to the finish. So does Falensky. It is Valensky that we're in with at the moment on this little bit of a rise as we just come around the elevated section here. Over the top here is the water off to our left at the moment. We take this left-hand sweeping turn. The group all back together again at the moment. Now, remember, our next sprint doesn't come until we get to 17.5k. At the moment, at 18.3, we're just in with Category 5. The Hedariot Wonder Sprint is the sprint they've just gone through. And interestingly, Latriglia, who has got this sprint jersey, actually was second in the last sprint. That's in the Hedariot Wonder Sprint. So you taking that second place really helped gain her points and put her to the top of. So took second fastest. In fact, she took the win in Category 5. Just having the screen updated as we speak. So took the win in Category 5. That gave her enough points to take away the lead. Now coming in, excuse me, onto the bridge here. Brittany Litton on the attack at the moment. So Litton ripping it up on the front, making life difficult for the riders behind. Well, what can Vittori do about this? She's chasing here. Kiddle is in. Kalman, Caramani, Bruce, Trudin, Jaramillo. This group still holding together as they come up to the top. This is the way back out from the main section from Abu Dhabi. Just taking a look in. Joanna Kalman. You can see the bike in the background here. Kalman tapping out. Great rhythm here. Nice and smoothly done as she comes over the top, holding the watts there. 250 plus watts coming from Kalman, sitting in that draft up near the front of this group as well. Important to get the positioning right. Important to stay focused on that front third. You can see the focus on Kalman's face here. Now she continues to push on, plenty of fluids there. Just taking a look at the large water bottle there, having been racing for what is just over 13 minutes. A lot of the riders actually will go on time for the fluids. Cameron just jumps off the pedals. Thank you very much, Joanna. Quickly onto the fluids, takes a chance to take a drink. I always have a little bit of a reminder every 15 minutes. When I'm out riding and racing, try and make sure I take a drink from the bottle, trying to take some rehydration on the way through. I was looking about 15 minutes for drinking, 30 minutes for some fuel, some food on board. If I don't have fuel in the water bottles, and I'm just using something like a isotonic drink, which is basically got all the sorts of minerals for hydration. So if the bottle's purely for hydration, then try and make sure I'm down any food or an energy bar about every half hour or so. Now, around that left-hand turn on the way back, that move on the front, Brittany Litton winding it up, not breaking this group apart in Category 2. They're at 9 kilometres covered. So just going to dive back across on our timing screens here whilst we watch Category 1. Just stretching things out a little bit here for Tomasi, Hermansen on the front, Hivalta up near the front as well. Mayer, tell you something, Tomasi, touted by Emma, my co-host on the show in March, in February, and pretty much in every month since Tomasi's joined us, being a rider we are expecting to see take away a victory. And at the moment, Francesca Tomasi, very, very focused here. You can see that fan blowing against her as we drop back in with Category 2. Just gone round the roundabout turn, going to head back out again. Bit of a dead-end section. This, as you come down, you do the full 180-degree turn around the roundabout and come back in the opposite direction. Just in with Malene Prowse. You can see Dorothy Gonzalez is the rider in the green skin suit of the sprint leader in Category 2. That was taken in sprint number 1, Hedariot Bridge Sprint. Fletsky wearing the green skin suit in Category 1 are taking that same sprint. Both Category 1 and Category 2, who are separated by 3.3 kilometres on the road at the moment, staying together as a big pack at the moment as they make their way through. A little bit further down the road, the Dariet Wonders Sprint has just taken place for Category 4. Randy Gino taking that from Hanna Pekakova. And that is a reversal of the places in 1 and 2 of her Dariet Bridge Sprint. So the first sprint was Pekakova in 1, Gino in 2. The Wonder Sprint, the Dariet Wonder Sprint, was Gino in 1 and Pekakova in 2. So they're tied on points at the moment in Category 4. Watch out how that plays out, because we've got 2 more sprints to go, tied on points in Category 4. Category 6 and Category 5 have been through there. Amy Sudbeo has taken the sprint in Category 6 from Al Ray, and then I think it was Hamilton, followed by Bargo and Driscoll in the Category 4 race. It was Gino, Pekakova, Hyde, Carmona, and De Grazia. And in Category 5, Latriga, followed by Roa. And then we saw Alzate going through just behind. We're back on the bridges. No surprise to see Brittany Lytton on the front in Category 2. The riders who are on the bridge climb heading away at the moment. These bridges are 2 bridges, very, very tough stuff at the moment, as you can see. This is going to be coming out from Abu Dhabi, heading back across to Hadari Island. The 2 bridges here, very, very tough. Big old climb, but not as big as our climb at the very end. But we don't get there till 35.4 kilometres. So plenty of race distance left. So all of our riders completing their power passports are going through the same verification. That's irrespective of whether you are Category 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Do make sure that you jump on to MyWhoosh.com. We'd love to see you join us. Still plenty of time. You could jump on and race next week and be out and racing and qualifying for our finals at the end of the month when the team competition comes into play. And those team prizes are also up for grabs. Don't forget, of course, make sure that you read the rules, download those rules, know exactly what you need to get up to. Now, just going to jump back in with Category 3 at the moment, just coming in towards the Dariet Wonders Sprint. The fastest rider through so far was a Category 4 rider, Randy Gino. Here comes Category 3, and you can see massive kick off the front here. Big kick going out to Marino here, really spinning those pedals. She wants to be right up in the mix. She knows the danger here of being too far down. She's going to score points here. Interestingly, the green jersey goes through, but only goes through in about 3rd or 4th place there. And that's Catherine Montoya. As we just await the timing to come in. Category 3 really motoring, but not the fastest time. Now, Montoya went through over the line in about 3rd or 4th places, but came from the back of the group. And in doing so, although she wasn't first over the line, sets the fastest time. So Montoya now takes sprint number 2, as well as taking sprint number 1. That means she's got maximum points, 10 points so far in that competition at the half sprint race distance. So 2 sprints out of the 4 complete. Now, less of a gap to recover. Our next sprint is at 23.8k, so it's only 5.3 kilometres down the road. We had 15 kilometres between our first sprint and our second sprint, albeit with those 2 climbs in between. Shorter distance. Montoya needs to get that recovery done, needs to make sure that she doesn't lose distance. It's Montoya in 1, Kong in 2, Bergen in 3, Dijkstra in 4, and I think it was Heibor in 5. Now, back in with Category 1. Category 1 at the moment, just making the way around that same 180-degree turn. Mary-Kate McCarthy just on the front here. We've seen some big numbers, though. Fua and Mayer again trying just to stretch this out, really make this hard a little bit further out. and certainly making things interesting as we see the Category 5 group here on our screens mixed up with Category 6 riders. And just going to take a look, I'm pretty sure this is the leaders in Category 5. They've caught up with a majority of Category 6. I'm just going to do a double check that they are not the leaders on the road. You can just see we've got a real mix. So they are not going to be the leaders on the road, but they are the leaders in Category 5. So here we go. We're going to come into our next sprint. So the riders at the moment at 23.7. This is that next sprint. It's the Octopus Loop Sprint. Very close to the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club HQ on Hidaria Island. Here you can see Category 5 winding this up now. Latriga, the leader at the moment. She's the rider leading. She took the last sprint. Will she be able to do the same? Roy is going to lead them through over the line, but who will have the fastest time? That is going to be absolutely critical. Roa is showing the fastest time. She goes through. Latriga holds on to the currently to the sprint jersey, the sprint skin suit, and you can see Jessica Hamilton, in fact, is in with this group as well. The two green skin suits together. Latriga is the rider on the center of your screen. She's the rider who has the fastest time in through the segment in Category 5. Montoya in with this same group, holding the fastest time in Category 6 and using that Category 5 group to go through. Hamilton's time going through there. She put some serious watts out, 632 watts there. Roa putting out 647 watts. And to give you an indication, Hamilton 6.9 watts per kilo. Roa 11.6 watts per kilo. Substantial pace coming out from the runs on the left-hand side of your screen. They are just a little behind the rows on the right-hand side of your screen. In fact, 2 kilometers further back. Right-hand side of your screen, you can see we've got Ange Quaplis-Miss and Angelica Limbago. We've got Sabra Arai, along with Rona May Joy Mayer, Dominique Chalbois, in with Bridget Bremner here. All these riders at the moment, the leading 7 riders in Category 6, they are still clear. I'll tell you something, they're still 2 kilometers down the road. We are at 26.9k, so we've got another little climb before we get to the Hidaria Hidaria Beach Sprint. All these sprints coming on the Hidaria Island itself. So you've got the Bridge Sprint, the Wonder Sprint, the Octopus Loop, and then the Beach Sprint. I always like beach sprints. There's always ice cream at the end of them. Well, there is in my world anyway. So the Hidaria Beach Sprint, 33.1k, still 5k or so from the leaders on the road. Bremner and co, that group of 7 riders up and away. So 6 sets of riders in our race, 6 race fields, all on the race route at the same time. Not just rewarding those Category 1 riders, the very elite of the sport, but looking after riders across all levels of the sport. We'd love you to join our riders. We'd love you to join Rona May Joy Mayer, and one of our real class riders. And you can see at the moment the ADQ shorts on there, the ADQ team, the road team, taking on the Tour of Flanders today. One of the monuments of road sport, and those are the road team, the women's road team, and the men's road team in action a little bit later on. It's an absolutely packed weekend of sport. In fact, we've had the Super Try. If you haven't watched the Super Try, I'm just going to say, please do go back and watch it. Have a look. It's on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Brilliant show. Absolutely loved it last night. It was a very busy evening of sport. I was watching the mountain bike XCC from Arancha. No spoilers on that. Great race there. Amazing racing on the Super Try. The finishes, both amazing races. The finish in the men's, I think, was one of the closest I think I have ever seen in a Super Try. And I've watched quite a few now. And have to say, fantastically close. Great action there. And MyWhoosh, of course, partner and powering the event. Now, back into the sprints. We're in with Hanna Pekakova, tied with points at the moment as they come in to the sprint. She's really got to make this count. Can she beat Gino as they come in through? You can see the paces on here. This is going to be key here. Pekka Kova goes in through. Just going to take a little bit of a look here. I think it's going to be Gino who's taken the fastest time through. So really interesting. 24.3k covered now. They've been through the sprint. The jersey has moved across to Gino. Gino taking that. So Gino with 2. Pekka Kova maybe just deciding that she needs to hold fast, save something for that Hidariot beach sprint and the climb, because we know that Pekka Kova and Gino will both be in contention for that as well. The leading group in category 4, Goodall, Collins, Elos, Ciciola, along with Vieira and Idzik. They are picking up riders as well. So we've got our category 5 rider in here. This is Karolina Chizikowicz. Carolina Chizikowicz riding in the UK at the moment. And just changing the gear there on the bike, making sure she stays focused on staying in with this group, using the category 4 group that have caught her to stay in. And if you're wondering why that's possible, well, it's really, really easy. It's dead simple. What you need to do, make sure that you jump in. So make sure you jump in with the group, and then you have to lift your power, but stay in the draft. By staying in the draft, you're saving 20-30% power, and that's really, really critical. So away go our riders. Thank you everybody who is watching live. If you are not watching live, thank you for joining us on the Sunday Race Club. My name is Matt Payne. I'm here bringing you all of the race action this week. It's a pleasure putting words to the action. Flying solo this week as our Category 2 riders come through. We're in with Dorothy Gonzalez-Ruhr. A real aggressive racer, a fantastic battler, and a real competitive rider, not just on the sprints, but also in terms of the racing, in terms of the riding, and in terms of the way she rides. I love the way that she's always going to be there or thereabouts in the overall as well. It doesn't just focus on one thing. Now, do remember that we are live on YouTube. We're also going out on Twitch. If you're enjoying the show, thank you very much, Riel, for the comment on the live feed. It's nice to get the positive feedback on there. Good to have you with us. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, MyWhoosh. Tick subscribe, and you know what? You get notified every time the channel goes live. So that is for example, if you want to find out about the commentary team, you can go to episode 11 of Inside the Ride and catch up with what myself and Emma Martin get up to, and how we came to be talking about the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. How we get to talk about Dorothy Gonzalez-Ruhr sprinting in the green jersey, and what a camera shot. I tell you something, this is the camera shot we want for a sprint. Gonzalez-Ruhr focus, sprinting, kicking down on the bike there. Absolutely nailing this great sprint from Gonzalez-Ruhr, going through the sprint at 17.8k there. The Hidariat Wonders sprint, she takes the fastest time. It's Gonzalez-Ruhr from Svarström, from Gosselander, from Degen Mashandi, and then Thompson going through. Gonzalez-Ruhr takes the win in the Hidariat Wonders sprint. She took the win in the British sprint. Nice 2 segment prizes going her direction, as long as somebody in category 2 doesn't sprint through later. Fantastic riding. Big sprint there from the core squad rider. I tell you something, she's now set the marker for everybody else to do. She's in the driving seat. Now, a little bit further down the race route. Oh, we're just coming down off the top of the velodrome. Now, this is one of the brilliant things about the racing here. You can ride up and around up onto the roof. So if you ever watch the Italian Job, the old one with the minis on it, and they go racing up and round the roof when they're trying to escape after having stolen the gold bullion. I'm not giving any plots away. This film's like 50 years old. They used the roof of the Italian Fiat factory, which I think is from memories in Turin, and they go on the roof. Well, you can do the same on the velodrome in Hidariat Island. At the moment, only virtually, but there is going to be a ride. You can go right up onto the top. So not ride around the actual boards of the velodrome. If you want to go race velodrome, then ride the velodrome. It's going to be amazing when it's finished. But you can go up on the top. And I would suggest if you've never ridden on a velodrome, everybody should do it at some point or another. Now, just taking a little bit of a look on the left-hand side of our screen, so Category 5, you can see that they set off 5 minutes after the Category 6. Category 6 have descended down from the velodrome roof. You can just see on the left-hand side of your screen, Ella Vink at the moment leading Category 5 on to this climb. This is at 29k. This is the penultimate climb, the last little climb. It's little, but it's not that easy. 4.9% until we get onto the roof. It does vary fractionally as go through. You can see the odd little increase up to about 6%, but it really is going to test the riders. This is the leading group. 12 riders together at the moment. That includes the sprint leader in Category 5. And you can see at the moment, Latriga holding the wheels just about. The push is coming on the front. And as they make the way up here, the riders weave their way up, spiraling their way up towards the roof. Is anybody going to break? Is anybody going to lose contact here? They're all in the red. You can see those small red chevrons by the side of the rider's name on the right-hand side of your screen, showing that they're digging deep at the moment. They go up on to the top here. It's going to level out. Giraldo riding well. One of our newer riders, one of our younger riders, certainly not all that new anymore. Been riding plenty of times. And I tell you something, Isabel Giraldo, a rider who really just keeps on improving up into a Category 5 and looking as strong as she comes round. You've got to do this figure of 8 turn on the way through as well. She just takes a little bit of extra height, as if climbing to the very top wasn't enough. The figure of 8 turn comes in. We go diving round to the left now. It's all anti-clockwise for those of you who can remember old-fashioned school clocks. So then it is going back to clockwise. And what that does is that spins us round enough times to send you dizzy, but then you drop down onto the descent. So holding the wheels, building momentum key. Giraldo stays with this lead group in Category 5. Tijeros, Ferron, Roa, Zabala, Latriga, Ferron, all in the group as they drop down. They're chasing Category 6, who are the first riders, the first group out and away. Interesting drop down. Going to take a look in with Annalyn Tijeros. So Tijeros sat on that smart trainer, just keeping those revs rolling around 71 revs per minute at the moment as she pushes her way down and through, having come off the side of the velodrome, now making her way back towards the main Abu Dhabi Cycling Club HQ, who are based down there. We're going to drop in with Category 1. Now, there have been flurry after flurry of attacks, but none of them sticking so far. We're at 18.2k, so having just come through the Hidayat Wonders sprint. And at the moment, the Category 1 riders not really contesting that maybe as much as we would expect. I am just going to take a double check. I would imagine that Filensky took the sprint. But I tell you something, it may not be the case because Filensky may well have been shed from the group. I'm just taking a double check here. Now, Filensky, sprint leader, has been shed from the lead group. It means that at the moment, the fastest time through in Category 1 is Amanda Paulson's time there, which is a 10.5 watts per kilo, 15-second time. But it's not quick. It's the slowest on the screens there. The fastest time at the moment set by Randy Gino, and we saw Gino taking that sprint going through there, 12.543 seconds, 12 watts per kilo, shows you that power. Now, these are live times, and that does mean that if a rider comes through, and this is Bridget Filensky going in through the sprint, she sprints on through, and I can tell you she's just set the fastest time in Category 1. Paulson's time, it was quick, but it was not 13.208. She was not up at the very front. It's the third fastest time Filensky does enough, so that means that she's got 2 sprint wins to her name. Maximum points, 10 points. Filensky, despite not being in the group and giving away 2 minutes, is not leading. You can see the updated board with all of our sprint leaders as they come through. Updated because, of course, it is live. And now we can see that it's a 13-second time, not a 15-second time for Flensky, going through 13.208. Fastest time, though, congratulations, Randy Gino. No prizes for having the fastest across all categories, but a prize for each and every one of our category leaders. Fastest through the segment takes you the segment prize. Don't forget, you can catch up with all of the breakdown of the prizes, all the rules. You can download those on the MyWhoosh.com website. Go to events and go to the Sunday Race Club. Whilst you're there, why not register? Jump on board. We'd love to see you riding. Now, there are minimum specifications for the equipment, and they do change. They are evolving. Changes this week to some of the allowed equipment, and that is simply to make sure that it is a fair and leveled playing field for everybody. And that means that you do need to meet those minimum specifications in terms of your turbo trainer. You can just jump on and ride any of the rides. You just jump on and ride in any of these worlds when they're available. They rotate round. So if you want to go out and ride this and see what it's like going up onto the top of the Veldrim roof, if you've got an old fixed wheel bike, my dad, who is 80s, I'll make this right, aren't I? 87. I was about to say 86. He's 87 now. He is on a set of rollers on his old fixed wheel 1954 fixed wheel bike with some speed sensors on the rollers, and he rides on here. Now, if he can do that at 87, I'm sure you can as well. Jump on board. He doesn't go very far, he doesn't go very fast, but he absolutely loves it. So do jump on board. Nick Olmere, a rider who does go incredibly quick and aggressive and fast and races very strongly. Relative newcomer to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, but I have to say, very impressive so far. And as anybody who has watched on a regular basis will know, I like riders who are aggressive, riders who take on the racing rather than just those that are passive. And I tell you something, Mayer is definitely that. Nicole Mayer from the United States of America has had ridden 5 of the Sunday Race Clubs with her top 5 so far. Now, let's jump from category 1 back in with category 5. I hope you're all keeping up here. So here we go. Kick in through the sprint. One rider already kicking off from the front, but the smart money goes from the back to the front to Gerald out of the saddle, stamping down on those pedals, kicks it through, builds up the speed. Now needs to rev through to the finish. You've got to race through that line. Doesn't want to get distance, doesn't want to be left behind. If you didn't respond, if you didn't react when everybody else sprints, you would be left behind. You would be, that would be it. Game over. Time to go, take an early shot. Don't bother making it through. You're not going to be in with the leaders at the finish. You've got to hold the group. If you get distance through that section, you're in trouble. Latriga, no danger of being distant. She's our sprint leader, taking another win on the way through there. An amazing ride again. Incredibly quick as they go through the Hudaria to Ascend sprint that time around. And I have to say, it is really impressive watching all these riders continue. Hudaria Beach sprint there, keep on kicking. Latriga taking the win again. Absolutely phenomenal performance. Actually, she could. Pardon me, that should secure her. I'll put my teeth back in again. The sprint win. Amy Bale doing the same as well. Absolutely leading this out in this leading group. Got the sprint jersey at the moment. Got the fastest time through that sprint. We'll see if she can hold on to that when the rest of that category 5 come through. Because Jessica Hamilton has been sprinting incredibly strongly and fast and has the advantage of some of the groups coming up behind. And I think that's going to make a difference as they come in through. Left-hand side of your screen, you can see at the moment you've got your Category 6 leaders up there. We'll see what happens as the riders behind on the right-hand side come through. There are Category 6 riders coming through with the Category 5 and 4. But at the moment, the leaders on the road, 35.9k. They are now making their way onto the ascent climb. They've come through the polka dot banner. This climb is going to be key. Joy Mayer on the attack, on the front, starting to wind this up. Shalbois trying to respond. Left-hand side of your screen, the race onto the climb. It starts off relatively bumpy. Rather than being a pure climb, you've got a rise and a dip, but the climb is going to be critical. Meanwhile, back on category 1, it starts to kick off as well. Got another kick in and through. And this has been triggered by the sprint. They've gone through the sprint, and a counter-attack has gone over the top. Catherine Fuhr on the attack, looking to break this up. She's looking to make the racing hard today. At the moment, nobody can snap the elastic. Nobody can distance riders. There is one rider, though, in trouble, who is going to have to respond off the back of this group. But still, Kulczynski, Penner, Holcroft, Mayer, Fuhr, Guerra, all in this group. The McCarthy, the world champion, in this group. Hermansen's here. Bjarhead is here. All of those key contenders when it comes to the climb to the finish. Still in Van Heuling, Gallegos here too. This is going to be really interesting. It's going to be fireworks on that final climb. They're all together at 23k. They've got the climb up to the top of the velodrome, the next real big trigger point. There are a couple of little rises before then, and at the moment, it seems to be Fuhr's making life difficult. Now, one rider still off the back of this group. One rider distance. That means that one rider behind having to put in that extra power, that extra pace, breaking through the wind on the road to try and get back to the group. That will cost them energy, and that is energy. There's only so much fuel in the tank, no matter how good you are at getting those carbs down on the way through your racing, through your riding. You run out of energy, you are in trouble, and you've got to keep in contention. Mayer, Fuhr, Guerra on the left-hand side of your screen. All riders in that leading group. And you can see the communication, the phone, the messages bouncing backwards and forwards across the screens. Interesting to see how they're racing. Fuhr, Mayer, both on the same squad, both on the Sweat Sensation squad. Guerra riding for the Thundercats, and I think the Mayer Fuhr Brunifelt combination is going to be a tough one. Little bit of a kick on through here as you can see them going through. Poulsen holding the fastest sprint jersey. She keeps taking the lead as she gains 5 points as they go through a sprint. But then when we see Falensky come through, she takes it back off her. So again, Poulsen at the moment, the incumbent in the yellow skin suit, in the green skin suit of sprint, in the yellow category 1 rider, 16 seconds going through. But you can see by that time, it's not going to hold. If Falensky ups her pace, she's going to come through faster. Gonzalez, Rowe, Montoya, Gino, and Hamilton should be secure in those positions. It's only category 1 where we've got Falensky sprinting behind, picking up those points, picking up the fastest through the segment prize, and will be taking away the overall prize at the end. So 6 categories set off from those pens. Our category 1 riders were the last riders out from the pen. That was some 38 minutes ago. The women's race all out and hopefully done and dusted before we set off on the men's race. Not always the case. We do overlap sometimes, in which case we'll try and show you all of the women's finishes and as much of the men's race starts as we can. There is a little bit of a gap in between. That's only so I can refill my coffee, honest. As we dive in with category 2 rider from Scotland, Heather Shanks, looking warm, got the headset on there. So well, another next PB insured rider who is on her way through at the moment. Got to Kokolowitz in front. 28 seconds is the gap. Come on, Heather. Keep that pace steady. Sit at your sit just underneath that point where you're going to blow. Make sure it's within 1 or 2 beats. All of our riders will know how to sit to keep the pace just right without blowing up. You don't want to go too far into the red. You go in the red, it'll cost you time. You've got to hold that pace. This is where it's going to be painful. She knows she can take that time back if she can keep the pace fast enough for long enough. They are in front, but that gap at the moment, 26 seconds. And that is going to be a target. And one of the things I always like to focus on when I've been dropped, which happens on a regular basis, is trying to look, can I get my best performance? Can I get my best 5-minute power chasing and putting down that power. Can I get myself a new? It's great workout being chasing those chase moments when you've got that target in front to chase. Always interesting. Good to see Heather there in the pain cave. And definitely giving it some big beans there, Heather from Scotland. Meanwhile, back to category 1 as we just come over this little rise. This is that one of the smaller rises between the Octopus Loop Sprint and the Hadariat Beach Sprint. Hadariat Beach Sprint, though, does have immediately in front of it the Velodrome Climb. And that's on the left-hand side of your screen. Right-hand side of your screen, you can see that we are now gaining some serious height here on the Ascend Climb. Rona May Joy Mayer leading the race out now at the moment, still at the front of affairs. She attacked at the base of this climb. She got a gap. Arai, Sidibayo, the two riders behind. Shalboy is there. Bremner and Limbago now dropped. Bremner's at 1 minute at the moment. Limbago 23 seconds. She's only 1 second behind Liz Smithson. Top 10 riders in each race category are going to be taking away the prizes here today, subject to verification. Just a heads up, interesting comments about the sprinting on the screen. It is indeed much easier to sprint hard if you don't care about finishing. However, you do need to finish the race. You can't just not finish. You do have to finish the race. So that is really important. You have to take a race finish to take away the over. You have to cross the line. So really important to cross the line. But yes, it is a very different race. But it does give riders something to target. Waiting to see just how all of our riders get on as they keep kicking onwards up this climb. The front group in category 6 are leaders of the road. Joy Mayer, Arai and Sidibayo all together. The gap 12 seconds to Shalbois, 13 to Smithson, 33 to Limbago, now 1:15 to Bremner. The winner of the racing category 6 is going to come from one of these 3 riders. Surely Shalbois closing down to 10 seconds, but time is running out. They're at 38.9k. The finish at 40.5. Bit further down the climb, currently riding at 36.9k, so only 1.5 kilometers into the climb. There are category 4 leaders. Hannah Goodall at the moment, just deep inside the tunnel, just shaded from our drone shot, our helicopter shot there. Goodall tucked in with this group of category 4 leaders. They have shed riders behind. You can see that on the top right hand side of your screen with a number of those red discs behind. But this is the lead group, currently numbering about 14 to 15 riders by my reckoning. And most of the key protagonists in here, seen Ciciola, Rosa Herrera in here, De Gracia Elos, Vieira in here, Collins in that group as well. So category 4 leaders still together, shedding riders out the back. They are at the moment onto the climb. In fact, right hand side of your screen, just behind them, these are the category 3 leading group going on to the base of the climb at 35.7k. So they're 300 meters in at the moment. Leinen and Nielsen, Beltran, the rider that we're in with, Benilla Alta Marina, Hakkinen in him, Wendy McAlpine, experienced rider on the Sunday Race Club in category 3. As we go back to the lead of category 6, the leaders on the road. They don't have far to go. They're going to make their way round this left-hand turn, round the pylon that supports this elevated roadway. And then it's a long, long right-hand sweeping turn. Alray and Joy Miller are together. So the barrier just being dropped by a second. 2 riders at the front. Round this left-hand turn they go. Quarter of the way round they are at the moment. They're going to hit that halfway point round this turn. Then they're going to see the banner out to their right. It's a polka dot banner. So the barrier, Amy's got to keep pushing here. Seba Roname at the front here, opening up the gap though, so you can see that banner is coming. It's a polka dot banner. They are above the clouds. They're up in the sky. Who is going to climb their way up to victory? Alray starts to lead this out. Joy Mayer has to respond here. Time is running out. Alray really kicks on here. 5 watts per kilo. Seba Alray goes through underneath that polka dot banner. The polka dot banner is done. She's going to take the climb victory. Who's going to take the win, though? It's a bit further up the road. Oh, look at this. There's been a sit-up. Joy Mayer has eased off. She's put in a time for the climb. She's ahead of Sudabayo. I think she's going to cruise a second, and Alray is going to be able to enjoy the run for the line. It's a little bit of a stretch. 500 meters to go. This is going to be a painful 500 meters. She sprinted to the lead in the Queen of the Mountains. She'll take the fastest through the segment time. She'll take the overall win in the climb, and it looks like she's going to take victory in the overall as well. She's a victor in the climb competition. Can she take victory in the overall? She keeps pushing. Joy Mayer, 15 seconds. The legs have well and truly chasse patate is the phrase in French. The legs are broken. I think there is nothing left. So let's see how the riders make the way up behind. Interesting battle behind as Shalbar tries to hold off Smithson. Smithson climbing well here. Shalbar's responding at 4.5 watts per kilo behind. And Shalbar see about she can, but it's going to be a long way in front. All right. It's got the left turn, and then it's just round the final pillar to go. You can see behind her the chase is on. They're not going to make it back to the race leader, though. I'll tell you something, Sarah Ray has got the timing absolutely spot on. She climbed with Joy Mayer. She went past her in the last few hundred meters, and that final kick in to the climb banner, to the polka dot banner. Now we're looking for the yellow banner. It's green for sprints. It's polka dot for climbs, and it is yellow for race and victory. You can see the yellow railings at the side as she comes underneath the UCI banner. It's race victory for Sabra Al-Rai. She adds overall victory to the climb competition. Race victory, job done, and we're going to see her take first place. It's a second place for Rona May Joy Mayer here today on qualifier number 1 of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. She goes through, you can see, eases off on those pedals, sucks up the oxygen in second place. And it's a third place for Sudabeo, who goes through underneath the UCI banner at the top of the climb here, takes the third place, the third podium spot. It's 1 for Al-Rai, 2 for Joy Mayer, and 3 for Sudabeo. That's in category 6 behind. This is the category 5 race. Arias, who has just gone through the polka dot banner with the race lead, but look behind. There are riders coming at speed. Becker and Majeska on the way at the moment. Can they close down on the race leader? We're in at 2. The yellow rail is indicating we're coming up into towards our yellow archway. It is the yellow arch on your map. On that radar view, it's the UCI banner of MyWhoosh, the UCI partner for 2024, 2025, and 2026. This is the kick, and look at this there together. We've got 3 riders together, and if any of those hesitate, Alzat's only at 4 seconds, Lopez at 6. They're not that far behind. Time is running out. 90-degree left-hand turn. It's a straight. We've got a left-hand bender through underneath those red arches. A little bit of a chicane into the final left-hand turn. And the lead goes to Becker at the moment. Arias responds here. Can Arias sort of keep on those wheels? That polka dot jersey shadowing the rider in front, Becker with the yellow helmet. In the polka dot is Arias, and then you can see behind Majeska comes up in the white helmet there in the blue jersey into second place. So at the moment, Becker, yellow jersey, yellow gloves. In the lead position, Majeska, white helmet, no gloves. In second position, Arias with the polka dot in third position. Here comes the banner. Who's going to take this? This is going to come down to that final squeeze. Becker squeezes through. She takes top spot. In category 5, Majeska takes second, Arias takes third, and takes the climb competition. So 2 race categories done, 4 more race categories to do. Here we go. Out of the saddle, Carmona leading. She's taken the climb competition. She's got company at a Hualpa at the moment. It's the rider who is looking to take on the climb leader. Has she got a timing right to take the overall? Response comes from Carmona. They've 2 seconds from Simkin. And you can see Natalia Carmona, Horoska at the moment. Face it's Grimace. She's got to keep pushing, and a sprint from behind. Well, it's the win queen herself, Angel Hadlock, has gone over the top here. Angel Hadlock has been racing on the road. She's been on the top step of the podium on the road regularly recently. Can she replicate that here today on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club? That's a Hualpo's coming back at her, and Kimono's not out of this either. Hadlock leads it through. climbing like the proverbial Angel Hadlock takes the win. Angel Hadlock race victory on the Sunday Race Club once again. I tell you something, that woman is a one-woman winning machine. Now, done 6, we've done 5, we've done 4. We're into category 3. They are a little bit further down. They've not yet reached the polka dot archway that indicates the top of the climb. Here we go. Big bunch. This is a big group. They have not split on the climb. This could be one phenomenal sprint. Remember, 500 meters from the polka dot banner. They will want that segment prize because the segment win is going to give them the overall win in the climb competition as well. And you can see at the moment Sarah Roach has gone. Can Sarah Roach do this? She's gone clear. Will she be able to drive through? It looks like she's going to take the climb prize with this. A sneaky attack. Big kick at 8 watts per kilo here. She's going to go underneath the polka dot banner. Can she make it count for the overall as well? Now Roach has to keep pushing. She cannot ease off too far. 6 watts per kilo. She's still sitting, dropping between 3 to 6. Come on, Sarah. Get to the banner. It's 400 meters to go. It's nothing. It's round the corner. This is absolutely key. She's got the gap to Dijkstra, to Davison, to Hakkinen, to Walkenhurst, to McAlpine. What can they do? They have let the rabbit go clear. Can the hares chase the rabbit down? This is going to be key. Here they come, round the left-hand turn. They can see the rider in front. They've got to pull back that polka dot skin suit. 6 watts per kilo coming from Roach. Davidson at 7.5. Dijkstra stopping back towards Vanilla, who's coming strong now. Has Roche gone too early for the overall? Can she be closed down? Dijkstra, Davidson are trying to come at her. Roach is holding here. It's going to be all sorts of shades of pain for Roach as Davidson is coming up behind. It's at 5 seconds underneath. And those red arches are coming up to the pylon. Get around that pylon and Roach will take race victory. She's got the gap. Surely this is hers now. She put in the timing. She put in the attack. She put in the effort. She got it to perfection. She broke clear. It's given her the segment on the climb. It's given her the overall climber's jersey. And she now takes the race win in category 3. What a ride. A fantastic ride as she comes in through underneath the banner. Race win goes to Roche behind. I think that was Dijkstra from Davidson in 2nd and 3rd places. Don't forget, all of the places are confirmed on the MyWhoosh.com website. Go to results and you will find all of those results on there. They're live and updated. It is Roche from Davison, from Dijkstra, then Benilla, then Walkenhurst, Alta Marino, Nielsen, Hakkinen, Leinonen, Briggs, Highball and McAlpine going through a 12-rider squad. Then it's Bergin in 13th, Vasquez in 14th, coming through. You see how many riders were packed together in that Category 3 squad. Category 4, Hadlock from Atahualpa, then Goodall, Simkin, Elos, Carmona, Pekakova, followed by Ciciola going in through in Category 4. Category 5 riders. Well, we saw the win for Becker ahead of Majeska, then Gaviria, followed by Alzet, then Lopez to Geros, Latriga, Roa, and Mongeli in the order in Category 5. In Category 6, it was Alrai from Joy Mayer, then Sudabeo in 3rd, Smithson in 4, Chalbois in 5, then Barg in 6, Bremner in 7, Lloyd in 8th. Sorry, Lloyd not in 8th, Agadella in 8th, and then Solizano in 9th, and quite rounding out the top 10 in Category 6. So 4 of our race categories in. Categories 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have categories 1 and 2 on your screens. Category 2 at the moment, the furthest up the road at 36.7 kilometers. Still a big group of Category 2 riders. They are onto the climb. Category 1, not yet onto the climb, on the flatlands at the moment. All together at the moment. Paulson holding the green skin suit of the sprint leader, but that is a temporary thing until we see Falensky add some more points, as long as, of course, she finishes the race, finishes and gets through those sprints. Now, in with Amelia Velt, left-hand side of your screen. Definitely a rider to watch at the moment. A rider who has been riding very, very strongly indeed. Will she have enough, though, to take away the win? Be very interesting 48 rides on the Sunday Race Club. She's got 2 second places and a third place. Can Felt take away a win. It'd be good to see her do so. Definitely would be well deserved. But she's up against the all 3 medalists in the World Championships. Fua Guerra and, of course, world champion McCarthy. They're all in the lead group in category 1 and all have been on sparkling form and really taking it to the riders, all getting lots of training as well. So we'll have to see how that plays out in category 2. Well, the category 2 pack well on to this climb at the moment, and I have to say the sprints competition, Dorothy Gonzalez ahead, taking that ahead of Randy Gino taking and Catherine Montoya in terms of pace through the sprints, but in terms of individual winners, Gonzalez taking the sprint win in category 2, Montoya the sprint win in category 3, Gino taking the sprint win in category 4, Latriga taking the sprint win overall in category 5, Hamilton taking the sprint win overall in category 6. Category 2, will it be Gonzalez Royal? Well, she's in with this group. Can she climb? We've got Prado on the front now. Jermaine Prado, multi-time champion, a time trial champion, a road race champion, and a definite jumping here on MyWhoosh. A really strong rider, but can she stay clear? She's got some really strong company. Jennifer Gottelander been contesting those sprints. So will she be up on the front as we get to the top of this climb? You can see Kittle out of the saddle. So is Calman. They're on the left-hand side of the screen. Gottelander sitting down, choosing to pedal. There's only so long you can stay out of that saddle for. Yes, esports riders will ride out of the saddle for longer because, of course, they don't have to worry about the turns. You don't have to worry about the descents. You can focus all about getting the maximum power in through. And at the moment, Calman is setting the pace out of the saddle, getting the power down on the front of this group. The avatar on your screen, the rider was on the left of your screen, but at the moment this group really pushing hard up here. The pace is hot, 23 kilometers an hour. The power's being put down. At the moment this group is still together. They have shed rider after rider as they've come onto this climb, but at the moment it's still a big group. They need to keep kicking. You can see they're on one of those slightly lower gradients at the moment as we drop in with Sophie Giovanni. So Giovanni really spinning here 100 revs per minute. She's able to respond. It's a lot easier to respond on a faster rev to rev up. If you see an attack go, we're on that flatter section. I don't think she's changed gear from that steep section. It also means she can rev into the climb. And if you rev into the climb, you keep that power down. You can sometimes burn the riders off behind you by just keeping that pace. Big attack though, big kick coming at the front there. It's a sprint off from the front. Can the rest of the pack respond here in category 2? They're up an ultimate race category. They're on the midpoint pretty much here at 38.9k as category 1. The leaders are on. They've dropped another 2 riders off the front of this group. McCarthy hovering in that rainbow striped jersey up near the very front of the group. It's Tomasi who's leading and onto the climb, just being passed now as they go up over the roadway, and the group comes back together again, looking for somebody laying off and then sprinting through the group, trying to use, if you can't use the gradient to attack, you've got to then use sprint tactics and use the draft effect. It's still there at 25 to 30 kilometers an hour, and we're at 30 kilometers an hour onto this climb, a speed most of us would be happy to average across our ride. Well, the riders are climbing at that pace here in category 2. Kolowitz, the rider we're in with Van der Vliet, Vittori, Prado, Kalman, Caramani, all for company at the moment. Kill's still nicely tucked into this group. Great ride by Bridget Kittle coming up into category 2, still holding with the leading group at this stage at 39.4k. Remember that at 39.8k we're going to see the polka dot banner. That's the first chance to grab some more prizes on this climb because it's the segment and the overall up for grabs. Fastest time through the climb is going to be key. They came into the climb together. Who's going to take this out? It's Thompson who's leading them through. Maria Thompson at the moment is leading them up around the outside of the bend. She goes. She's going to go in through the polka dot banner, surely with the lead. Giovanni's chasing Azizek. They're so close together it could well come down to who was where as they came in the group, and this push for the line for the climb prize is going to test the riders. Thompson has got the fastest time at the moment, and with most of the riders through in that leading group, it looks like that's going to hold. Now, can anybody counter-attack over the top? This is where you've got to watch for those numbers. Kokolowicz is going at 5 watts per kilo. There's an answer coming behind as Jenny X still holds the lead, but through comes Van der Vliet. Kokolowicz is with her. These two riders have used this moment to counter-attack. They've distanced a few riders, including the polka dot skin suit climb winner. It's going to be a real battle as they make their way to the 40.5 kilometre marker that sees us come to the end of this race. They are rocketing up the final stages this time. Kate Trudin on the front of the race. A really interesting interview with Kate on the Virtual Velo podcast. Give it a listen back. You'll have to scroll a little bit back through the back catalogue of the Virtual Velo podcast, but a really interesting chat with Kate Trudin, actually. So do have a listen to that. Meanwhile, this is the run for the line in Category 2. This is all about that kick. And at the moment, Joanna Kalman at the top of your screen is leading Kate Trudin to the line. Joanna Kalman, her face is going to be a picture. She goes through the line first. She takes the win. Kalman takes victory. A pat on the back of congratulations. A towel thrown over her. I tell you something, she wasn't throwing that towel in. She took a fantastic victory in Category 2. So Kalman taking the win. And it was Caramello who came up in those last moments from Caramani and then Trudin. So it's Kalman, Caramello, Caramani, followed by Trudin, then Eck and Van der Vliet, Kokolowicz, Degan, Mashandi, Kittle and Giovanni rounding out the top 10. Van Short, Lundin's Farstrom, Victoria Thompson, the climb leader and winner, taking the top 15. Great ride by Bridget Kittle. I have to say, all power to her for being the rider who has just moved into Category 2 and still holding. Now, in with Category 1, as you've seen on your screens, two riders at the moment pressing home an attack here. It's Mary Kate McCarthy and Gabby Guerra. McCarthy puts the pressure down, though, and this is breaking her clear. She's at 8.5 watts per kilo. It looks like Guerra is currently holding around about 6, so McCarthy has gone. She's shed Guerra. The two of them had dropped Holcroft, Fua, Kulczynski and Alberg. A massive battle between Holcroft, Fua and Kulczynski at the moment. Three riders battling it out for 3rd, 4th and 5th places. But Mary Kate McCarthy at the moment, the rockets has been engaged. The afterburners have been lit. And McCarthy is going to come through. And she's going to hit the climb banner just round this right-hand turn. This is going to be the fastest climb time. It's going to be the fastest segment and over the overall, without a doubt. The pace that she set up there, you can see that McCarthy exchanges the rainbow-banded jersey for the polka dot skin suit. The world champion at the moment is our climb leader. She has to get to that finishing line. She's 7 seconds to Guerra, so she cannot relax too much. She's holding 6.5 watts per kilo at the moment. She's matching Guerra, who's also sitting about 6 watts per kilo. Can she hold pace here? This is going to be key. 20 seconds back. It's Holcroft currently in 3rd. Fractional gap to Kulczynski. Then it's Catherine Fu rounding out the top 5. Now, as the world champion comes round this left-hand turn, she has got 200 meters to go. They are all uphill. It's 6.5 now, 7% nearly, as she comes into this left-hand turn underneath those red arches. It's McCarthy leading, Guerra in 2nd, Holcroft in 3rd, Fua in 4th, and it's going to be Kulczynski in 5th at the moment. Holcroft breaking clear a little bit further at the moment from Fua and Kulczynski as the world champion takes this tight left-hand turn. It's going to be the world champion, the climb winner, taking the overall victory here today. Mary Kate McCarthy takes the win. It's going to be a 2nd place from Gabby Guerra, making sure she's got everything out as she comes in through the line. It shows you just what our Category 1 riders go through to take away a top spot here today. McCarthy in 1. It is Guerra in 2. Followed by Maria Holcroft in 3, Catherine Fua in 4, Kristen Kulczynski in 5. And then the rest of these riders battling their way up in over the line behind Korchinski. Bjornhead comes through in 6th, Tomasi in 7th. And then I think we're going to see Alberg in 8th, and then Nicole Mayer in 9th place at the moment as they come in through the line. Behind 10th place should be Lisa Hermansen, I think. Yes, Lisa Hermansen in 10th place, running out the top 10 there. Wow, what a finish. 1 hour, 3 minutes and 39 seconds of racing done. 40.5 kilometers covered, 250 meters of climbing. Well done to all of our category winners, all of our prize winners. Remember, top 10 in each of our race categories take away prizes. Mary Kate McCarthy, though, will be taking away the biggest haul of all, taking away the climb segment prize, taking away the overall climb winners prize, and taking away overall race victory here today. The world champion shows just why she is a force to be reckoned with. Amazing ride by Gabby Guerra again to challenge all the way. In the end, it was 9 seconds separating first and second place. Behind Maria Holcroft, third place for her. Another podium for Holcroft. It's not going to be long before we see her, I think, taking that battle to all the way to the line. Fur coming back into from 4th place, Korchinski in 5th. Another good ride by her to round out a top 5 position. Qualifier race number 1. Remember, qualifiers all the way through until we get to the last Sunday in the month when it is our finals. Our women's races first, they're followed by the men's races. My name's Matt Payne. You can follow me on Instagram. Please do give us a follow. It's at Matt Fixer Payne. You can follow me on Strava as well if you really want to see just how slow I can ride and how many coffee stops and cake stops I have on the way. Time for me to get a coffee and a cake stop. I'm not sure whether the production team will be getting one because they're going to go straight in with a rewinds. Do enjoy what is going to be the women's rewind. Show you what has happened. If you're just joining us for the men's race, which is coming up, if you're staying with us, please make sure you're in there, that you're refreshed, rehydrated, and ready to go. But for me, Matt Payne, I'll see you in a short while for the men's race. Welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Big kick actually from our lead rider at the moment. That is an early breakaway. They've got some sliding room on to the climb at the moment. The world champion Jason Osborne waits in this pack. He knows that the moves are going to start to go. And in fact, it's Trojanowski who's gone clear on the front. He's attacked early here. We're looking at our rider number 1 on the road. It's Ricky Kittle up at the front of the race. That's something that we got used to saying this month. He's clear at the front of the race at the moment. He's got 6 seconds to the nearest rider. He's currently at 34.2k. Currently on the climb of the Hawk Hills. Category 6 riders trying to respond here. It's going to drag them up towards John Back as Horsley puts in a massive dig here. He wants to push his way up to the wheels of John Back here. He gets onto the wheel. Now, can any of the Category 6 make the most of this? One man who clearly is not slowed by pretty much anything, Maciej Mindakowicz. He had got a gap. He's still holding the gap. Koskirski, along with Rios, Betty, Dan Graves and co. The big chasing pack in Category 2. Here comes the banner. This is the run for the line, less than 300 now, 200 metres to go. The sprint's unwinding and Pegasus has got 12.5 watts per kilo. Kennett's coming in at 16. Will the track sprinter have his day? Dylan Kennett's got the climb jersey. He takes the win here today. It's qualifier race number 2. It's going to be a win today in Category 6. The first rider over the line underneath the UCI banner in Japan on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Mikael Pastule, your race winner. It's qualifier race number 3 of 4 qualifiers here on the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh in March. And Osmar Vaz is going to claim his first victory here on the Sunday Race Club. He takes the win. He goes underneath the UCI banner. Your race winner, Ricky Kiddle, is going to come in and across the line. The Category 6 race winner is Ricky Kiddle on qualifier race number 4 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Horsley's out in the saddle. He's got 4.7 watts per kilo to his name at the moment. He's coming around this left-hand turn. Surely he's going to do it. The banner is just round this left-hand turn. Here comes the banner, the UCI banner for MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. Kevin Horsley takes the win in Category 5 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم. مايوش وتحرك هنا من بطل العالم جيسون أوسبورن. جيسون أوسبورن بقميص بطل العالم يتحرك الآن. عملية هجومية يقودها جيسون.
نشاهد هنا وصول الدراجين من الفئة الأولى إلى عدد من الدراجين من الفئة الثانية من هم في ذيل الكوكبة من الفئة الثانية، وهنا أيضا محاولة من الفئة الثانية، ولكن بالي ينطلق خلفه أيضا يبتعد ب 38 ثانية. بولندي يبتعد عن الكوكبة ب 38 ثانية في آخر 13 كيلومتر من السباق. هنا نشاهد وصول أيضا الفئة السادسة كابتن عبد الله إلى خط النهائي والسبرنت الأخير الآن بين داليان وبين كنت، بين داليان وبين أندرياس. نعم، متسابقين على خط النهائي وسبرنت قوي بينهم، والنهائي لداليان النيوزيلندي الفوز والقميص الأصفر، ويرفع السرعة، يرفع الواط الآن ويحتفل بعد 50 متر تقريبا بالفوز اليوم لأول مرة. والقميص الأصفر لميشيل البولندي المركز الأول للفئة السادسة بالسباق التأهيلي الثاني من شهر مارس. الاحتفال الآن والقميص الأصفر. أما هنا الفئة السادسة أوسمار باز يبتعد وبعدما تقلص الفارق إلى 12 ثانية، ولكن يحافظ على الصدارة الآن. أوسمار باز المتسابق البرازيلي المركز الرابع في الأسبوع الماضي يفوز الآن بالمركز الأول والقميص الأصفر، والاحتفالية الفوز لأوسمار باز. ريكي ينطلق إلى خط النهاية، هذا الأسترالي هذا النيوزيلندي لكي يحصل على المركز الأول اليوم في فئته بعدما كان ثانيا في الأسبوع الماضي. وبالفعل اليوم الفوز للفئة السادسة لريكي كيدل النيوزيلندي والقميص الأصفر والمنقط. الاحتفال بالفوز خلفه مباشرة براين وايت، ويدخل أيضا براين بالمركز الأول. ينطلق بقوة 44 السرعة 45 السرعة، والكوكب بالخلف تقلص الفارق لثانيتين، ولكن يصل الآن في هذه اللحظات إلى النهاية والمركز الأول ويخطف الفوز والقميص الأصفر لكيفن هورسلي.
and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Big kick actually from our lead rider at the moment. That is an early breakaway. They've got some sliding room on to the climb at the moment. The world champion Jason Osborne waits in this pack. He knows that the moves are going to start to go. And in fact, it's Trojanowski who's gone clear on the front. He's attacked early here. We're looking at our rider number one on the road. It's Ricky Kittle up at the front of the race. That's something that we got used to saying this month. He's clear at the front of the race at the moment. He's got 6 seconds to the nearest rider. He's currently at 34.2k. Currently on the climb of the Hawk Hills. Category 6 riders trying to respond here. It's going to drag them up towards John Back as Horsley puts in a massive dig here. He wants to push his way up to the wheels of John Back here. He gets onto the wheel. Now, can any of the Category 6 make the most of this? One man who clearly is not slowed by pretty much anything, Maciej Mendakowicz. He had got a gap. He's still holding the gap. Koskierski along with Rios, Betty, Dan Graves and co. The big chasing pack in Category 2. Here comes the banner. This is the run for the line. Less than 300 now. 200 metres to go. The sprint's unwinding and Pegasus has got 12.5 watts per kilo. Kennett's coming in at 16. Will the track sprinter have his day? Dylan Kennett's got the climb jersey. He takes the win here today. It's qualifier race number 2. It's going to be a win today in Category 6. The first rider over the line underneath the UCI banner in Japan on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Mikael Pastula, your race winner. It's qualifier race number 3 of 4 qualifiers here on the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh in March. And Osmar Vaz is going to claim his first victory here on the Sunday Race Club. He takes the win. He goes underneath the UCI banner. Your race winner, Ricky Kittle, is going to come in and across the line. The Category 6 race winner is Ricky Kittle on qualifier race number 4 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Horsley's out in the saddle. He's got 4.7 watts per kilo to his name at the moment. He's coming around this left-hand turn. Surely he's going to do it. The banner is just round this left-hand turn. Here comes the banner, the UCI banner for MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. Kevin Horsley takes the win in Category 5 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم. مايوش وتحرك هنا من بطل العالم جيسون أوسبورن. جيسون أوسبورن بقميص بطل العالم يتحرك الآن. عملية هجومية يقودها جيسون.
نشاهد هنا وصول الدراجين من الفئة الأولى إلى عدد من الدراجين من الفئة الثانية من هم في ذيل الكوكبة من الفئة الثانية، وهنا أيضا محاولة من الفئة الثانية، ولكن بالي ينطلق خلفه أيضا يبتعد ب 38 ثانية. البولندي يبتعد عن الكوكبة ب 38 ثانية في آخر 13 كيلومتر من السباق. هنا نشاهد وصول أيضا الفئة السادسة كابتن عبد الله إلى خط النهائي والسبرنت الأخير الآن بين داليان وبين وبين أندرياس. نعم، متسابقين على خط النهائي وسبرنت قوي بينهم، والنهائي لداليان النيوزيلندي الفوز والقميص الأصفر، ويرفع السرعة، يرفع الواط الآن ويحتفل بعد 50 متر تقريبا بالفوز اليوم لأول مرة. والقميص الأصفر لميشيل البولندي المركز الأول للفئة السادسة بالسباق التأهيلي الثاني من شهر مارس. الاحتفال الآن والقميص الأصفر. أما هنا الفئة السادسة أوسمار باز يبتعد وبعدما تقلص الفارق إلى 12 ثانية، ولكن يحافظ على الصدارة الآن. أوسمار باز المتسابق البرازيلي المركز الرابع في الأسبوع الماضي يفوز الآن بالمركز الأول والقميص الأصفر، والاحتفالية الفوز لأوسمار باز. ريكي ينطلق إلى خط النهائي، هذا الأسترالي هذا النيوزيلندي لكي يحصل على المركز الأول اليوم في فئته بعدما كان ثانيا في الأسبوع الماضي. وبالفعل اليوم الفوز للفئة السادسة لريكي كيدل النيوزيلندي والقميص الأصفر والمنقط. الاحتفال بالفوز خلفه مباشرة براين وايت، ويدخل أيضا براين بالمركز الأول. ينطلق بقوة 44 السرعة 45 السرعة، والكوكب بالخلف تقلص الفارق لثانيتين، ولكن يصل الآن في هذه اللحظات إلى النهاية والمركز الأول ويخطف الفوز والقميص الأصفر لكيفن هورسلي.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 1, and we're getting ready for the men's race. Say we, it's just me. It's Matt Payne. You can follow me at Matt Fix Payne. Give us a follow. Do appreciate it. Make sure you follow at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook, because we are going to be here all month with our qualifiers and then into our finals. Now, in the women's race, we were in Hadariat Island for a course that has an incredibly similar profile to the men's race, because basically it's a whole lot of flats with a whole lot of climb at the end. And that would be the summary if it wasn't for the fact that all the little bumps and raises, all of those sections before, are all trigger points where we can see attacks, particularly that little riser just bit after our race start can make it tough from the start. As per usual, we have our sprint segments. There are prizes for the sprint segments and for the overall. Sprint leaders and arches, green skin suits and green arches. For the climb, one climb at the end, which finishes just before the finish, 500 meters before the finish. And the climb segment and the climb overall is rewarded with prizes too. And climbing arches and the skin suit in polka dot, the white with the red dots on. End of the finish, at the very end of the race, 50.3k. Well, once you've climbed the Alto de Aguila climb, which is 4.9 kilometers long, an average gradient of 6%, and it's a pretty steady gradient all the way to the top. Once you've climbed that and then got through the finish, if you're the first over the line in each of our category, you're going to take away top prize in that category and prizes for the top 10 riders in each of our 6 race categories. Total race distance 50.3k, total climbing 492 meters. This is a race where we see our riders go hard from the race start in and running through to the finish if they are after those sprint prizes. Now let's give you a run through of the prize money available to our riders. Now each of our categories have prize money available, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. As you can see that we have left hand side the individual classification. The right-hand side is per segment, so whether it's a sprint or a climb segment, and then the sprint winner and the King of the Mountains winner. Category 6 has the standard prize money because it's our standard race category. When we move from category 6 to category 5, well, the prizes increase, as does the amount of power and the speed you need to travel. So you can see that we've moved up in the individual win to $280, and we go across to $20 for each of the segments and $30 for the overall wins. The team classification only comes into play at the end of each of the months, and that is for the top 7 teams, as you can see. So that was category 5. We can move up each and every time because we move up from 6 to 5 and 5 to 4. So you can see that the top prize now goes up to $470 individually. Top 10 riders still getting prizes, of course, individually. The segment prize goes up to $30, and the sprint and the King of the Mountains goes up to $55. I'm saying the King because this is the men's race coming up, but it is exactly the same prizes in the men's and the women's races as well. So that's the first 3 categories, categories 6, 5 and 4. This is category 3 as we move up through. Now, top prize moves up to $780 for the overall. For the segments, $40. For the sprint win, $80, and for the King or Queen of the Mountains, $80 as well. And of course, remember, today we have one climb. It's at the end. It's right at the end of the race. So the odds are whoever's going through that climb segment, not only will they take, obviously, the segment and the overall King and Queen of the Mountains, but it does mean they're going to be with a chance of being right in at the finish for the individual classification. Now, in category 2, individual classification is in 4 figures, $1,310 for the win, running right the way through to $80 for 10th place. We have the individual segments up to $50 and 110, 3 figures now, $110 for the sprint winner and for the King of the Mountains winner. The biggest prize fund is for category 1. $2,170 for the win. 3 figures for 10th place, $140. You can see that we have $70 per segment, and the sprint winner and the King of the Mountains winners get $135 each. You can see, though, the biggest prize fund is for the team classification at the end of the month. So really important to be racing the finals in a team, because the top 7 teams has then got the prizes, and those team prizes only come in at the end of the month. 3 riders to count, maximum of 5 riders in a team. Now, you see we've got 6 categories. Here's category 6. BMC 6 is the first of our category 6 teams. Lots of 6s today. It is, I've had 6 coffees as well, actually. Peter Atruba, along with Simon Llewellyn for the BMC 6 team. 2 riders in that squad. 2 riders in the level beginning squad. That's Marcus Brito and Scott Farrow. The Spinergy team have 2 riders as well. They've got Vatotas Jacobonus and Pablo Di Manuel. Now, Di Manuel in 3rd place last week in our finals. The Los Amigos teams is our biggest team. Team of 3 riders, Nielsen, Villada and Sebsa. They are the riders in the teams. Watch out for Gomez here today. He was 5th last time out. Currently in with Thomas Corver, one of the 35 riders, in fact, down on our start list for Category 6. And he is the rider ripping it up. Currently, it's 1.6 kilometers covered in Category 6. 2.5 minutes of racing, or just over, covered so far. Yavin and Brito, Milano and Newman all in that chasing pack behind. I say chasing because they're more using the bulk of the pack to get momentum rather than necessarily a full-on chase. And you can see that because they're all the way across from the yellow to the white line in the centre of the road, and that gutter to centre, an indication that the pace isn't fully on. When the riders are lined out, just like you would see in the Tour of Flanders today, the classic race, which has been hotly anticipated by a lot of people, not least the UAE teams, the UAE men's and women's teams racing that today. It is, once the chase is on, like it is there at the moment, chasing a leadaway breakaway group, well, then it's one long line. At the moment, they're all over the road, and that means that the pace is off. It doesn't mean it's easy, though, as you can see, number of riders being distanced from the main group. Corver, though, keeping the pressure on at the front of Category 6 at the moment. Out of the saddle, just pushing the pace at the moment, and certainly taking a look at the gap. 10 seconds now is gap. We'll go back to Thomas Scorvus and see if he is still clear a little bit later on, because waiting to go in the pens are Category 5, the first step up the ladder between Category 6 and 1. So the first step up the ladder, Category 5. We've got the BMC Rule 5 squad, which are Gibson, Rusinek, Calvajo, along with Dylan Kennett. I suspect Dylan Kennett, although he's down as BMC 5, is actually in the BMC Rule 5 squad, knowing him. Very interesting to see. We've got the level up squad. They're definitely ones to watch. 3 riders in there: Brian White, Nathan Pettersson, and Rodolphe Bertrand. Level up a Ride Club Finland, Leppinen and Warren. They could be in the mix. Upcycled have 3 riders: Dromard, Lloyd and Mokhtari. What Raventi, Castiglione and Livini, 2 for them. The MPCC team, 2nd and 3rd last time. Well, when we go racing, it's time to see if Mortek and Anderson can take 3rd and 2nd, or will they manage to get top spot this time around on the Sunday Race Club. It is a qualifier race at number 1. It's our 2nd wave of riders away. We're in with Jeff Rooney. Definitely a rider to watch. It's a big race field. 61. I'm going to say that again. 61 riders. It's, in fact, we've just missed out on 300 riders in this race field. 296 entries into the race this week. Come on, guys. Let's get it over 300. It's got to be done. Needs to happen this time around. Let's do it in April. In with Jeff Rooney, living legend that is Jeff Rooney. on the bike already. Good to see that he's already looking good. I love the sign behind him that says Pain Cave and an arrow, and it's actually just pointing right at his head. So I'm sure there's something in Jeff Rooney's Pain Cave, as there is in his head. I'm not sure what it is, because Jeff, of course, not just a legend for going up, but for going down and being an absolute inspiration to many, many riders. A rider who we all draw inspiration from, because you can see how hard Jeff gives it beans when he's out and racing. It's great to see him back once again. I think he's probably going to set a record soon for being the most consistent rider, and then consistently on the Sunday Race Club at some point. Now, just jumping in with one of our riders has moved up from Category 6 to Category 5. Brent Sensing has moved up, along with Michael Klaus, Ricky Kiddle as well. They've all moved up in from 6 in to Category 5. Ricky Kiddle, as you saw on the rewinds, if you're watching, a rider who has been right up at the forefront of 6, now moving up into Category 5. Congratulations, sir. Other riders to watch out, Tom Verham, definitely a rider to watch. 4th place last week. Don't discount Mark Dadson. Going to be interesting to see if he makes it into the mix. Watch out for Riley Milostic, one of the Milostic dynasty of riders. Definitely another man to watch out for. John Warren, John Back, another rider who could well be in the mix today. One rider who's been riding very strongly this month is Mohamed Mutari. Now, he's in that upcycle squad with Florian Drummond and Ian Lloyd. And Mohamed Mutari, rider from Turkey. You can see the flag proudly in the background there. Definitely a rider to watch on this course. Now, Mohamed Mutari goes well when the course gets tough. You can see at the moment he's looking really comfortable there, tapping that rhythm out, 85 revs per minute, taking a drink on board, not panicking because there's a rider just squeezing on at the front. He's a rider who goes well when it's tough. I'm not sure this course is tough enough for him. The rises are not big. They are there. There is the opportunity to put in an attack, but this is about making sure you use them correctly. The first sprint, the Santa Fe sprint, is actually on top of a rise. So if you could counterattack there, you would have a chance of staying clear. Now, we said go back to Category 6 and take a check of how Thomas Culver was doing. Well, I can tell you at the moment, he's in time trial mode. He's gained 25 seconds on the chasing group. Brave or suicidal break? I'll let you decide. In fact, time will tell. Because Thomas Carver at the moment, covered with just under 30 seconds, nicely tapping out 3.5 watts per kilo of rhythm. Definitely traveling faster than the chasing bunch, extending that gap. At some point, they're going to have to think about who's going to take up the chase. And I think there's going to be a lot of thinking about at what point do they go. They've managed to cruise for nearly 6K in Category 6, but with one rider clear at 26 seconds, it's going to be a tough chase. And at some point, they're needing to pick up the pace. So Category 5 and 6 out on the road. Category 4 in the pen, waiting to go. We've got the 5 W4T squad. Jimmy Che leading them. BMC Racing, 3 riders for them. Big squad. Cadiz Robinson and Pino racing for them. The Dirt Fair squad. David Young, Christoph Fizia in there in a fight. Marcin Krawanos. Again, another rider to watch out for. Level Racing. Definitely worth watching out for. Lindbergh, Kirk, and Allport. On the Rivet Racing, Bulgarian Arroyev and Gonsoden. Again, strong squad. The Peak Power Racing, definitely not to be discounted. Van der Sant, Gillo, and Rocker. And Rocker definitely been on the attack plenty of times. Grohl rider for Ride Club Finland. Castro for Salt Factory Team UAE. Now your Category 4 teams. The riders from Category 4 leave the pen. We're just in with James Robinson at the moment. Now, other riders to keep an eye out for. Nicholas Spratt, second out in the finals. Definitely a rider who could be in the mix. I wouldn't discount him. Pete Connell has been riding strongly. Sammy Tuomi has also been up in the mix. Watch out for Mika Rusimaki. He's moved up from Category 5 to Category 4, but potentially is tipped for the top today. Christopher Morgan, the winner last time out. He loves a breakaway. He loves to make it hard. Could well be his day. With the climb, Well, Jonathan Cridland definitely could be in the mix, as could Barchansky. I wouldn't discount riders like Clinton Cirillo, when it goes uphill. Bua Merwin, all right, in this pack, he'll be able to hold it to the climb. Will he be able to put that experience to good use on the climb? We'll find out. And do watch out, Arthur Segura, another rider who has been improving week on week. One rider expected to take an early move off the front, and that's Luke Allport in level racing. Allport, Lindeberg, and Kirk in the squad for the level racing squad. You know a rider attacks when they have a verb named after them. Now, Nicholas Trujillo, just sat, you can just see the sweat protector on the top tube of the bike going over the stem. See lots of riders with towels as well, just looking to protect the bike. Nice revs there, 96 revs per minute, spinning nice and smoothly. I am waving back. Every time a rider, if you haven't watched the coverage before, you may not know, every time a rider waves at the screen, I do wave back. The commentary team and the production team always laugh at me for doing it, but it just seems polite when people are waving to wave back. I'm not sure if everybody else does that, but I always do. Thank you very much, sir. Looking good out the saddle, just tapping, keeping that rhythm. You can see the pace is on this little bit of a riser that comes very quickly in at 1.5K, just kicks up and over, and you can see the pace is on. Christopher Morgan, that man who took the win last time out from Australia at the moment, just putting the pressure on, continuing to squeeze at nearly 5 watts per kilo on the front. This has stretched the group out. So it is a wedge-shaped group of riders behind it. It's a bit like a comet entering the atmosphere. You've got the lead of it pretty much together, being the pace being forced through, forcing its way through the air behind. Everybody sheltering behind, tucked in behind in that wedge. 1 or 2 riders distance, but at the moment, Morgan, Gros, Amer, Connell, Squillari, Pino, Ronchetti, all up near the front of this group. Very important not to be too far back. The problem comes when you're too far back that the gaps will go. Now, Boomer, you can see the riding, and not that I want to focus too closely on Boomer, but you can see the heart rate monitor on there. Boomer just not only telling us what his heart rate is, but that signature that's created by the heart rate, part of that verification process. All the riders have to have a heart rate monitor on, and Boomer at the moment, the heart rate 170 beats per minute, as the pace is still on here. 48 kilometers an hour these riders are traveling at, and Burma very focused on the screen at the moment. So good to see you, sir. And again, good to get the away. Good to see that he is right up in the mix and able to keep focused despite us talking about him. And he's clearly got the commentary screens on. Gros, Pino, Francis Pino and Matteo Pino both up at the front here. James Robinson in the mix here. Ronchetti again holding around the front, not wanting to drop too far back, not wanting to get caught by a gap, be caught by a break where you then have to chase that gap back down again. Category 4, very strong start here. So at the moment, sheltering in the bunch, keeping those watts, the power numbers in the green. An absolutely key skill. Matteo Pinto, the rider we're in with. Cridland still nicely tucked in. Hernandez in, Gillo, as well as Renew. We've got Ronchetti. Still, it's always very similar names around the front. Being smart, sitting near the front. So category 6, 5, and 4 away. Category 3 are our next team. So we've got the Anzac squad, Jose Rodriguez and Patrick Bloom from Colombia and Germany, respectively. Our 2 riders for Outer Alliance from South Africa and Czech Republic. It's Henry East and Jakub Wojciech. From the UK for the BMC squad, Niall Batty. We've then got from Norway level Goldens, Rune Vegard Bakken. And from Australia, Sandstorms, Mark Gates. Those are the team riders from a race field of 54 riders. And that's that race field of 54 entries. Take it to the start line. Away they go. We've got to watch out. A couple of names definitely to keep an eye on. Lewis Ridley, always strong. Could be a rider who could be up there. Second last week, in fact, in the racing. Maciek Skierski, never one to be afraid to go on the attack and to really push hard. Watch out for Jacob Bitko. Definitely another rider to watch out. Hassan Al-Ramethri, the same. do not discount MyWhoosh Kalman. I think he's going to be looking to perform today to keep up family honour. Nicholas Orrego has been strong over the last few weeks. Watch out for Pablo Paredes. Fifth place for him last week, an interesting result. Jan Kaplinski, well, he's moved up from Category 4, so definitely a rider to watch out for. But riders a little bit further down the entry list, which we actually do alphabetically here in the studio. Pierre Fell, Rick Van Erck, Stan Van Wellegem, all down in the bottom of that entry list in terms of alphabetically, likely to be right up at the front when we get to the other end. Now, in with MyWhoosh Kalman, a rider with a bar to meet today, a high bar. I'm not going to give any spoilers on the women's race, but it is well worth a watch. It is a fantastic race. If you haven't seen any of the women's racing, do give it a watch. Subscribe. Easy way to do it. Subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Hit that button if you haven't done already. Thank you everybody who has so far, but please do subscribe. We're going to see how our riders get on today. In fact, we're in with MyWhoosh Kalman. I think it's still morning just for MyWhoosh by about 15 minutes where he is. Now, he has got some pressure on his shoulders today because he has got big boots to fill after the women's race. There is an expectation now. The bar has been set high for MyWhoosh. I'm not going to tell you the result from the women's race, but it was a cracker. A fantastic performance. And I have to say, I really enjoyed putting words to the action in that because it was a fantastic race. Do give it a watch. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget, you will get notified whenever we go live. Now, a little bit further ahead on the road, our first rider on the road is Thomas Korver, who has just gone through the sprint. Not likely to take that sprint win, but interestingly, the sprint that's coming behind and the chase that he's on has brought the gap down to 14 seconds. Matt Hooker at the moment has hooked through the group and gone off the front. Will it be the fastest time through the segment? Maxime Fabre is going as strong, as is Järvinen. Can Hooker hold on to that green jersey? He went clear of the group. He went through in front. I think that's been enough to hold it for him. It is. So Hooker at the moment with the fastest time that's coming. Dassen, Thomas Georgiak, Sebza, Fabre, Perez and Järvinen, the riders in behind. Our first segment done at 11.5k under the wheels for our riders. Matt Hooker, the first of those green skin suit wearers, and he's in category 6. So category 6 riders on the move. They have got one rider clear in Korver off the front. We'll have to see if he can hold on. That gap had been almost half from nearly 30 seconds down to 16. Meanwhile, category 5 riders, Brett McMurtry trying to do a Korver off the front, doing an all-port, trying to go clear on the run through. So we're going to take a little bit of a look. They're at 9 kilometers covered now, so still a couple of K to go. And the Santa Fe sprint is at the top of the climb, and it was a climb that did the damage to the lead of Korver in category 6. What damage will it do to category 5? You can see top right-hand side of your screen. That red line is the course profile. It moves from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. The rider's position is the yellow vertical line with the arrow pointing downwards at the top of it. And as you can see, these riders just starting to approach that climb. The percentage gradient at the moment yo-yo in between minus 0% and 0%, which is basically the same thing as they come in, but they're going to hit the raised roadway, hit this bridge, and that is where, once they hit that wooden section, once they hit this next section, this is where the gradient goes. 0.1 descent as they come in. Now we're going to see that road rise, and then it goes up. You can see in the distance rising up in front of the riders. This is where the damage was done to Korver. He's got still holding 13 seconds in category 6 on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. A solo leader there. McMurtry still clear just on the front of category 5, bottom left-hand side of your screen. They are currently at 9.8 kilometers at 7.2k. Top right-hand side of your screen, that is category 4. And category 3, top left-hand side of your screen, 3.5 kilometers done at the moment. One humongous great bunch, as we're seeing in most of these groups. So whilst attritionally 1 or 2 riders being distanced at the moment, it is mainly all together for the majority of riders. We're not broken up. Now down in with Alexander Fiedler in the middle of this group, just taking a look up, and we're taking a look up because this is the run in up the climb onto the top and then into the sprint. Interesting move. Mark Dodson is making this hard before we get to the sprint. There are limited opportunities, limited trigger points, and limited places to do the damage. And looks like Mark Dodson really starting to push on here. Justin Roy responding, so is Vladislav German, and Nathan Pedersen doing the same. We've got Gibson, Bertrand as well, trying to keep that group in contention. Dodson on the front, though, has got the gap. We're going to come round this left-hand turn, and this is where we're going to see that interesting contrast between climbers and overall riders sprinting the way up the climb, and who has got something left in their legs for the sprint. Very easy to get caught out here in the sprint. Work too hard, beyond your limit on that climb. There's not much recovery. You can just see in the distance the green banner. It's in front of our riders. That is the sprint start. The sprint's indicated by green banners, the polka dots banners indicating our climbs. The finishing line, the UCI banner, as a big it goes. Now second on the road. Now we're moving up in front. You can see that big coming from Quiros. He goes underneath the banner. Juan Quiros has, I think, got the fastest time. He went, though, from the front of that group. We're watching to see what's going to happen. Surely he's going to hold it to the line. Big kick coming from behind. Now look at Kjærgaard, 12 watts per kilo. Kjærgaard could well take it away from Quiros. Quiros goes through first. He takes it initially. Then it goes to Kjærgaard. So Kjærgaard has got it. Sebastian Kjærgaard takes away the green skin suit. 5 points to him. Hooker in second. Dodson in third. Dvorak in fourth. Sebsa in fifth. So Kjærgaard, Hooker, Dodson, Dvorak, and then Sebsa, the top five, followed by Fabra, and then Peres, Yavin, and Aaron. Interesting results as they're going through there in terms of the overall. In terms of category 5 riders, big difference between the time of Kjærgaard, who was first in category 5, and Riley Milostic, who was second in category 5. Milostic, though, a rider who I would expect to see on the attack, as I would see Dylan Kennett. Kennett has saved something. So we had the kick up the climb. We then had the sprint through, and Dylan Kennett wanted to keep this tough. Vilada, Pedersen, and Zanaska going with him at the moment. Rademacher also doing the same. They want to try and get on those wheels. Dylan Kennett pushes on here. Now, can he make it difficult? Can they split this group? There's a gap open behind, and you can see the scramble for wheels further back. Everybody wants to be in with the main pack. Nobody wants to be on their own. If you're Billy No Mates off the back, you are going to be pushing in to the breeze the whole way around this 50k course. 50.3 kilometers of total race distance. And if you've got to ride from kilometer 12 to kilometer 50 with no assistance, that is not going to make it easy. Get in with this big group, hide in, get out of the wind and save energy. Absolutely critical. And you can see there's a number of riders caught out. The category 6, 5, 4, and 3. Very interesting racing as we move in with category 2, our penultimate race start. The Abu Dhabi team, led by the inimitable, the one and only, the living legend that is Ivan Yuki. We got the CD Racing team, Carlos Cruz, Daniel Pito, and Thiago Clamot. They're going to be up against the smartest team, and they're going to be hard to beat. Anders Bengtsson, Christoph Thiem, Moritz Ritter, second last week, and Simon Walter, fourth last week in that smartest squad. The Hitmen, 2 riders entered for them, Ross Forster and Tatu Koistonen. The UAE Falcon squad, Ahmed Al-Tanaji and Zaid Hamdan, but they're up against the UAE clan team. Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic and SS, all down on the entry list. Part of a 55 rider strong race field that includes Krasnich, who was 5th last week, and Grace, who was 3rd last week. Time to go racing in category 2. Race start, big kick from this start needed. We're in with Mr. X100 at the moment. This is not the sort of course that almost could be tough enough for the UAE clan team. They like it when it's really hard, when it's really tough. Lots of opportunities to break it up. They're going to have to be careful, going to have to be smart about where they use that energy and where they try and make it tough. Category 2 is a really tough race field. Riders to watch on the climb and on this course. Well, it could be pretty much anybody. Damian Kiesnowski, definitely a rider to watch on here, as is Kowalski. Gomber as well has been riding strongly. Hassan Salter cannot be discounted. Watch out for Santiago Valles, who's on our screens. Peter Milostic, always one of those riders who we know is going to be on the attack. Mohamed El Alami in this race field, along with Olivier Simmons. Definitely an aggressive rider. Can he make it count today? Going to be a bit tough for him, I think. Needs a harder race, but we will see when we come to the climb. Sarah Carradine in our race field, as is Scott Catanzaro. Stuart Miller's been riding strongly as well for Ireland, but it could be literally any one of the 55 riders. Matthias Van He, well, he's a rider who prefers the California courses with those climbs, and the Belgian courses. The climbs in between a little bit harder and a little bit tougher, but will be interesting. Riders to definitely watch out for. Bert Cairn and Carl Cairn have both been sprinting well, and this could be the sort of course that will suit them. We'll have to see. Will Mohamed El Alami be the rider who's at the top step in first place when we get to the very top of the climb of the Alto do Aguila climb? Well, we're going to have to wait to find out. Remember, this race, 50.3 kilometers long, 492 meters of ascent. So the first kicker, 3.3, 3.5%. The climb, already seeing that aggression coming out in category 2, seeing the race start to break. Early moves being made as we go in with Maciej Mendakowicz. I can assure you that he's not on a helicopter overlooking the beach shore. I'm sure he probably wishes he was, but Maciej Mendakowicz, no, he'd always rather be racing on the Sunday Race Club. And as you can see, tucks nicely in with this group. His avatar in the draft here. Daniel Mundell in here. Joshua Haggerty as well. Looks like Jan Kabliski, Palco Chel up the eroding category 3. I've got to watch out. Ross Fawcett, though, a man on the move. So, Fawcett kicking off, going over the top of the climb. One of our real strong riders, interestingly, behind Andrew Downey, Olivier Simmons. Very aware of the chase, as is Ike Morel. We're just in with Ross Fawcett at the moment. So Ross on the bike, tucked in that pain cave. 89 revs per minute, 400 plus watts. You can see the watts top center with the lightning bolt beside it. It's heart rate 165, 90 revs per minute, though, being held smoothly as he goes in through behind. We're in with Ike Morel, Ike, one of the amazing coaches on the MyWhoosh live coaching. Don't forget to jump on board. You can join Emma and Ika and all of the coaching team on the live coaching. You want some inspiration to ride if maybe you ride better in company and you don't want to be just stuck on your own in your pain cave with your own little world of hurt. Do jump on board. Now, one man who should be absolutely fatigued is Phil Graves, a man who was working hard yesterday delivering the Super Tri event down at the Aquatic Centre in London. Some brilliant racing and some brilliant racing on MyWhoosh in terms of the Super Tri. Fantastic format. Give it a watch. And interesting to see Phil going early. That may be a do or die kind of moment from Phil, but we will see how his energy holds up. Okay, in with our category 1, our final race category to go, the top of the tree. Second place last week, Leonard Chugos, along with Ruben Don for the ABA Synergy team. We've got Chirrut, Kaminsky and Jones for the Alpha Jaw squad. And for Boss Moves only, Knudsen, Fink and Safra Zaidi. CD Racing have got Michel Machado and the Farm Watts squad. Andreas and Puckett, Noran and Plantero. Fourth place last week, Marshall Wu. He's going to be racing for the HC NSVE team. Union of Speed, represented by Joel Lewis. Venga Boys by Jacobs Mayer. And Alvarado, representing the Wahoo Esports squad. As Category 1 Take 2 race start. 33 riders on our entry list. All of our riders away from the start pens. Category 1 chasing everybody. The Category 1 riders are up and away. And you may notice there are some notable names missing, including world champion Jason Osborne, who is not with us this week. Does this leave the door open for riders like Michael Vink, who has been battling with Osborne? Osborne really was on impressive form last time round, but not with us this week. Riding in the outdoors. Why would you want to do a thing like that when you can ride indoors? In fact, we're in with Michael Vink. Good to see Michael. Evening, Michael, because he's out across in New Zealand. I know I gave this a plug last week, but I'm going to do it again. Please do have a listen. Virtual Velo podcast, co-host on the show, Emma Martin, not here with us this week. Doing the Virtual Velo podcast. It's the last of the shows that's just been out. Do have a listen to it. Michael Vink, really, really interesting interview, really insightful. And I have to say, really, really did learn a lot about Michael and his journey so far. So please do give that a listen. Rest of this race, well, there's some real interesting mixes in here. MyWhoosh's been improving week on week. Very, very interesting rider. Could well be up in there. Will it be his win today? Leonard Chugel, second last week. Cannot discount him on this course. He knows how to ride smart and the short climb at the end. Will it be hard enough for riders like Stefan Van Elst? He was third last week, nicknamed the Iceman. And have to say nicknamed after sad loss of Vakilma. In fact, that's where the nickname comes because of his striking resemblance to Iceman in Top Gun. So maybe this week could well be the week when he's back on that top step. That would be a very fitting tribute. Watch out for Kalpa. He's moved up from Category 2 to Category 1. Lindemann Lostic has been getting better week on week on week and definitely cannot be discounted because this course has that shorter stretch at the end. He's one of our younger riders. As we drop back in with Category 2, just ahead of the riders we were just in with Category 1 on the road. In with Jonas Bjarhed, who's out of the saddle, kicking down hard at the moment on those pedals. And you can just see this is the chasing group, 4 sets, 6 seconds up ahead with Phil Graves. They have got the gap on Stepanek, on Bjarhed, on Mendakowicz and Wozniak. They're the chasing group of riders. The big bunches behind, being led by Bert Kern and Stuart Miller. They're coming after them, and this looks like it's all going to come back together. They saw the danger of letting Fawcett and Graves go up the road. Bjarhed and co decided, let's get across. And once you get that mass of riders, you get a critical mass. You reach the volume. Too many good riders going down the road. I wouldn't let Jonas Bjarhed go a millimetre. I'd be glued to his back wheel. He's such a strong rider. And at the moment, well, it looks like they're going to come back together again. Just keeping a check on those names. Alemani, yes, Skierski, Damsgaard in their Veles. All the usual suspects making the way in Category 2 up and back towards the very front of the race. Just taking a little bit of a look to just see whether we've got any of our strong riders from the UAE clan team in there. You'll have to go back to that task in a moment, because at the moment we're in with Ollie Jones, Category 1 rider. He's right near the front of the Category 1 race field, who's got stretched out here. And interestingly, we've lost 2 or 3 riders off the back of this group. The group is stretched, and there are 2 or 3 riders dispatched from this group who will not be in with a chance of the race win, which is really, really interesting. It's such an early stage in the racing. They've covered 3 kilometres, and Category 1 riders are going out of contention as Ollie Jones puts another counter-attack, going at 8 watts per kilo. Another big dig from Jones. He is a breakaway specialist. It's definitely his modus operandi, and at the moment, it certainly looks like he's trying to do that again. Break clear, take away 2 or 3 riders, then work hard to try and make everybody else chase to wear them out, to try and get some slowing, to get that gap. It certainly has worked before, but all these riders very experienced. In with Saeed Safrazadi in his pain cave. Another of our regular riders and regular on the cameras on the inside into our riders on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Saeed Safrazadi certainly ticking those pedal around smoothly. 88 revs per minute, just tucked in that group, marking the moves. Hayden Pucker in here. Wonder how Hayden Pucker's legs are feeling. He went out and did a pre-Sunday Race Club ride yesterday. And seeing that on Strava, put in some serious distance yesterday. So we'll see how he goes on day 2 of big distance and hard effort. As we go back to Category 2, Remember, 6 race categories, all racing for prizes for the top 10 individually, all racing for those sprint and climb segment prizes and for the overall wins in the climbing and in those sprinting segments. Now, this group was looking like it was coming all back together again in category 2. It looked like it was going to rejoin. The pressure had been kept on at the front. It kept them clear. The chasers got pulled back, and it looks like the whole bunch sat up at that point. Bjarhead and Co., who had been putting in the chase, got brought back into the fold, and they've let the riders in the front just stretch back out once again. Very interesting that they're doing that. Just leaving them up at the front. That's likely to change, I would imagine. Realistically, the next point of change will come at that 11-kilometre mark, because the sprint segment may well be where we see that gap getting closed down. It's not slow, 42 kilometres an hour at the moment, but we know Category 2 are capable of much higher speeds than that. Now let's go across from regular winners in Category 2 to regular winner, who has moved up. It's Brian White. Good to see Brian with us on the Sunday Race Club. Regular winner. And now in Category 5, finding his way in that Category 5 race. Just getting caught by Category 4. You can see Brian out the saddle here. Good move there. Smart thinking. Get out of the saddle. Get that power down and jump in with them. They've caught him. Interesting point. They've caught up with Brian at the end of the sprint segment. So this pace will die off a little bit from Category 4, allowing Brian White to catch a lift. So by enabling the pace to drop off, being caught at the end of that segment, it means that he's got a chance of staying in there. And you can see White at the moment in with the Category 4 riders who've caught him up, and they've got to be his next target. And this is great experience. Ride with the Category 4 riders to get a feel for the pacing, because that's where that Brian White is heading. He's not going to stay in 6 or 5 or 4. I think Brian White going to be a lot further up through the race fields by the time he finishes racing on the Sunday Race Club. But at the moment, tucked in with Category 4, Burma tucked right in with this pack at the moment, going over the bridge. You've got to go up over the top of the waterfalls here. It's a great view, but there's no time for looking sideways for the riders. The spray might cool them down virtually, but it's not going to be helping to where they are in person at the moment. As they come away from the waterfall, it drops back down again. This is one of those little ripples that are out and along the course. They're not huge, but they're enough to break the group up. It has fractured, and we have got at least 4, if not 5 riders dispatched from the main group here. I reckon that's 6, judging by the shape of those discs. So, over the top they go. Burma leads the drop down, chased by David Young. Yeah, Caron, as well as Luke Kendall. Taylor Gonsolin in there. Taylor Gonsolin, real tough trooper. Interesting to see how he rides on through here. Currently at 20.4k. So they've gone through our first 2 sprint segments at the moment. So interesting to see how those riders deal with the sprint segments. Our first sprint segment of the day was the Santa Fe sprint. Rick Van Eyck taking it in Category 3. Nicholas Spratt taking it in Category 4. Sebastian Kersgaard taking it in Category 5. And Matt Hooker taking it in Category 6. We've got a full roundup of those places. And, of course, them updated when we see our Category 2 and 1 riders go through. But at the moment, we can see Matthias Van He on the move. He is trying to close this gap back down again. And I tell you something, Phil Graves and Russ Fawcett, those two need to ride a team time trial together. And that is for sure. Because they are well matched. You can see that they've got 18, 19 seconds. They're a well-matched pair of riders. And I think the group behind have been caught a little bit napping here. We all know the danger of Ross Fawcett on his own. We all know the danger of Philip Grace. If you're one of us who've been here for a long time, been here a long, long time ago, yes, if you've been here a while, you'll know the danger. You'll know the pedigree of those two riders. Put them together, and they are going to work well together. They're a well-matched duo of riders. And that means they're going to be trying to stretch this out. If, like me, you'd much rather be sat in that bunch going nowhere fast and hiding behind, that's going to be really interesting to see how that runs. Now, into the Santa Fe Sprint, Category 2 are going. This is for the through the segment prize. You have seen a launch from the front, not always the fastest way to go, but I think it may well be today. We're going to have to see. You can see the kick coming from Skierski at the very front, took him into the green, but Olivier Simmons coming from the middle of the group, working his way up and through, has come through with the fastest time through the segment so far. Simmons from Skierski and then Alan Young. Those two with a bit of a march on compared to the rest of Category 2, but we'll get that updated. So Simmons and Skierski, then Alan Young, your top three at the moment. Good riding. You can see the effort on Olivier Simmons' face there. Good to see Ollie, aka Bigley Simmons, on the move. And you can see again, we're talking about that heart rate monster there around his chest there, just recording that heart rate, making sure that we keep that record. The heart rate track, the power tracks, it's tracked through the turbo trainer and through a secondary source as well. So that could be the power pedals or a power crank. So two separate parameters. They are compared with the heart rate, the speed, where the rider's going. It creates a signature, a bit like the signature that you sign your life away with, or you sign autographs if you're famous. Well, do you know what? It's the same thing. That power, the signature, the heart rate, the way that that shows, the way that that's recorded gives a real signature. And even two riders, the same weight and similar power will actually produce a very different signature. So really interesting behind the scenes. Can't tell you everything about the verification, not just in part because I don't know, but even if I did, I wouldn't be allowed to tell you. No, I'd definitely be embargoed. But the verification applies to all riders in all categories. So if you're thinking, well, I want to ride in Category 6, but it's only the elites that get tested. No, everybody is subject to verification. So do make sure you read those rules before you try and jump on board, get yourself sorted with the kit. As we see Category 2 on the right-hand side of our screens at 13 kilometres, Category 1 at 9K. Still an aggressive race. Another rider being dropped off the back of Category 1 as that pace takes its toll. Now it's in for 10K into this 50-kilometre race, so 20% of the racing done. Probably not 20% in time because that climbed the final 4.9K of climb uphill. Now, Mr. X100, just off the back of this main group, that yo-yo pace costing him time. He's currently having to kick at what is 10 watts because he's trying to get his way back in to the leading group. He's got to keep on pushing. Come on, this last push, you've got to go all the way, get into that draft. We're looking for green numbers here. Once those numbers go green, he gets into the draft. He gets that advantage of sitting behind the group here. He's giving it absolutely everything, desperate to get on. He knows the danger of being shed. There we go, the numbers go green. That means that he's now saving a huge percentage. If you've ever been, I've been in a bunch of 200 plus riders at one time. Apart from being exceptionally scary unless you're used to it, I tell you something, it's so much easier. You sit in a group, you sit in that bunch, it makes life so much easier. You then are pulled through. You just get that draft, that pull, and that makes it easier. Now, one of the things that Mr. X100 has done here, he's gone through that group, he's gone to the front, and that is one of the things that show riders been around for a while, because if you just get to the back of the group, and then you take your rest immediately, you get to the back of the group. The problem comes is that if there's a kick, you're then in trouble because you're on the back and you're going to go off again and you're going to have to chase on again. You can see here, he went right to the front, then took that period of rest. And whilst the riders have gone past him, he's not been dropped out the back. And that means that he's getting drafted all the way through a longer period of rest with a longer period of drafting, which enables you then to get a bigger rest in, and every second is vital. You've often heard my co-host talking about micro rests on the way through, and that wasn't a micro rest, that was a big break there, that was a big gap, and that allowed him that recovery time in there. Now, let's go back across to Category 1. Nobody breaking away just yet. There's been plenty of attacks. The latest attack coming from Ruben Dont, who has made his way through and has got the sprint win, I suspect. There we go. He has indeed. Just looking at those times, though, 14.426 of a second for Ruben Dont, currently taking the sprint lead. He'll take 5 points from that, as has Olivier Simmons, Rick van Erck, Nicholas Spratt, Sebastian Kjærgaard, and Matt Hooker in their respective categories 1 to 6. The fastest time, though, well, so far that fastest time coming in the lower category, showing that category 1 at the moment, whilst that sprint came, it came from a slower speed. Category 1 not up to pace yet. Do find Category 1 cagier, as Bjorn Andreasen out front at the moment. Just need to keep a check on that. Bjorn Andreasen at 6.5 watts per kilo. Now, he can hold that for a long, long time. He's got 4 seconds, and he's used the aftermath of the sprint to move clear. He's taken the run down the hill behind. Interesting to see who is looking to chase. Now, Bruce Bird will have wanted to be in that group. Bruce Bird up the front on a breakaway with riders like Ollie Jones, then that is something you've got to worry about. Interesting to see that push through there by Bjorn Andreasen, and a rider, I'm not sure I want to give you this. We know he's been a former world champion, but I'm not going to tell you how he wins that championship. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. How Bjorn Andreasen went and took his win in the World Championship. So do go back and have a little watch of that. No world champion with us, no current world champion with us this week. As we've said, Jason Osborne not present. Mary Kate McCarthy was present, the world champion, the women's world champion in the women's race. If you haven't watched it, do jump on board and watch. Have a watch back of Super Try, as we said. Great racing there as well. A very busy weekend of racing, not just on the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh, but also on Super Try, powered by MyWhoosh. Great racing on there. Some great race finishes. That tension building all the way through. And a place actually I'm pretty familiar with, the London Aquatic Centre. Spent a lot of time down there during the course of the Olympics in 2012 working on those. And it's a venue I've known well since then as well. It's somewhere I've spent a lot of time going backwards and forwards to around the corner from the Lee Valley Velodrome as well. So really interesting area of London to be in, and lots of sports events down there. But at the moment, well, we are currently in Colombia on the Alto de Aguila course. We've got a little way to go until we hit the climb itself of the Alto de Aguila. For those people more familiar with the Paso Alto course, which is the long climb, the 15K climb at the end of normally the men's race, it's preceded by a climb, and this is that first climb that we normally get on the Paso Alto course. It's the last climb today. So we keep an eye on Phil Graves here. So it looks like that escape bid has been brought back. The work done by Mr. X100, Phil Graves, Mr. X100, battling out on this platform since 2020, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, before records began pretty much. As we keep a check on Simon Walter out of the saddle here, the German rider. A fan at the moment, not looking like it's blowing, so it must be cool enough with the fans that he's got in front of him rather than just from the side there. Interesting. A number of riders want to keep that temperature reasonably warm. Continental Europe warm today. I think where I am, which is in the middle of France, just north of Bordeaux. Currently about 23 degrees in the shade, and it's sunny today. It was sunny last time I caught up with the Tour of Flanders. Whilst grabbing a quick coffee between the women's and the men's race. Didn't manage to get any ice cream though. Need to rectify that at the end of this race. But really interesting to see that Walter there showing the cooling of a fan, so maybe just that little bit cooler where he is in Europe. Leading group of Category 2. Mr. X100 tucked into this pack. Masic Mendakowicz still in here. Christoph Thiem. It looks like we've still got Jonas Bjarhead in there. Olivier Simmons, the sprint leader. They're at 18.2K, 500 meters to go to our next sprint. That is the Coffee Plantation sprint. The right-hand turn followed by a left. We're in with Frederic Gombert from France there, and Gombert out of the saddle at the moment. It is a little bit of a riser here. It then dips down, and this is where you can really build up speed. Timing for this sprint is so critical. Ridden this bet, you've really got to hit it hard. We're going to go back to that sprint very shortly. Just watching Michael Vink on the attack. You always got to watch out when Vink goes on the attack. The Vinkinator himself, thank you very much, Dylan Kennett, for all the insider information, is on the move. Vink, Van Els, Kaminsky, Knudsen, Jones, Talbot, Cutler, all up at the front of this race. They're not letting Michael Vink go anywhere. That attack didn't pay off, but a counter-attack has gone on the right-hand side of the road, and it's come from Ollie Jones. So Vink went first. Jones goes second. They're on different teams here. Jones riding for the Alpha Jaw squad. Vink on the Boss Moves only squad. And that move by Jones has provoked a response from Said Safrazadi. And he's made it across now. Can Safrazadi and Jones go? Is this the move that's going to go clear? Van Elst is currently at 6 watts per kilo, but he has not closed it down. Jacobs comes to the front of the group. So does Noren. So does Milostic. Jacobs there still. And it looks to me like Vink is going to try and bridge across. He's just come through that group at 10 watts per kilo. So Michael Vink has seen the counter-attack go. He did a quick recovery. He's gone again. This could be decisive here. We've seen 2 go clear. Said Safrazadi and Jones on a counter-attack to Vink's initial attack. Vink has gone. The response has come from Van Els, from Knudsen, from Cutler, from Noren and Kaminsky. They need to keep close on the heels of Vink. Look at Vink powering through here. He might be out of the saddle, but I'll tell you something, this is about power. This is not dancing on the pedals. This is absolutely smashing down the power. That control out of the saddle, putting down that power at 77 revs per minute. That is super smooth. Most people bounce about when they get out of the saddle. He was out of the saddle just using that core strength to get the power down through the pedals. Brilliant riding as he goes back up, and the attack is nullified. The group is together, but damage is done. One rider at the back, another counter attack goes again. We got right hand side of the road at the very front, another move going. They are not hanging around. Now back in with category 2. Let's give you the result of the sprint that went through. We're going into the cafe. You can tell I'm in France at the minute. In the coffee plantation sprint, cafe being the French word for coffee, into the coffee plantation sprint. Olivier Simmons again doing the business. So Ollie, 2 wins out of 2 in our sprint so far in category 2. So that coffee plantation sprint going to Simmons. He took the fastest time in category 2 by a margin as well. I'm working my way down for the second rider in category 2. It's Anders Bengsted. He is about 53rd place in terms of sprint time. So not very fast sprint from category 2 on the way through. And that's because the racing is coming thick and fast. Attack from Mr. X100 on the front, being answered by the rest of this group. Kisnerski right up at the front there, keeping that under check. So is Santo, Ivan Yuki keeping an eye on Mr. X100 just in front. They know each other well, ride regularly down on the track down at Hidaria Island. In fact, here is Ivan Yuki, the living legend that is Ivan Yuki. They'll be writing myths and legends. He's going to go in the history books, this man, but not just for his riding press, but for the amount of people he has inspired out on the bike. Had the pleasure of riding with Ivan Yuki, as many of you will know, when we were down at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi. Managed to sneak an extra day. Don't worry, we weren't on the clock. We took an extra day on our time to get out and ride and visit some of the local cycling clubs and visit Abu Dhabi Cycling Club. An absolutely inspirational coach and an absolutely inspirational bunch of riders as well. Had a real eye-opening experience there as to just what those facilities are on Hidaria Island in the UAE. And they're replicated out and around the country as well. Now, let's go back in with category 1, in with Mikhail Kaminsky, one of our real experienced riders on the Sunday Race Club. Very interested to see Josh Harris right up at the front of the racing here, really marking out the moves. And I'm wondering if Harris starting to come into some form at the moment. They're not far behind the leading group on category 2. They're about a minute and a half ahead. And you can see that because Lewis has come through, just taking the sprint there in the coffee plantation sprint. We just saw category 2 head into it and just giving you that result. But look at that. Joel Lewis goes through. He's in 3 digits for the watts. And he's 15 seconds the slowest of our sprint segment winners because category 1 at the moment are having to firefight. They are dealing with attack after attack in category 1 at the moment. So we see another move being made over the top. This time around, Michael Vink on the attack once again, being answered though by Leonard Tugels, and Tugels knows all about the danger of letting Vink go. He has been the only man to be able to hold on to the wheels of our race winners recently, and at the moment Tugels sits on the wheel of Michael Vink. Behind them, David Tolbert and Stefan Van Els answering the move. Category 1 going over these rises and falls, an attritional race with riders being shed off the back, nobody able to break clear at the front despite numerous counterattacks. Meanwhile, in Category 2, the racing being lit up. Mr. X100 on the front here. Kiesnowski, Parnell Hansen, Ika Morel, Ivan Nuki, all patrolling the front of the group. Massive and Dakowitz and Jay Holweiler also there. So let's take a run further up the road towards the very front of the race. We're in with Category 5 at the moment. We're in with Mark Dadson and Juan Quiros. They are just on the way into the sprint. Quiros has been sprinting strongly in these sprints on his way in and through at 35.1k. They're into the Wax Palm sprint. Category 6 came through. That was Ericsson Perez taking the win from Owen from Silver from Yarvinen, and Bianchi rounding out the points winners. Quiros takes the fastest time so far, and that surely is enough to give him the fastest time. Quiros has been right up there all the way through these sprints, and he's been good, but he's been not good enough to beat Sebastian Kiersgaard. Now, we saw Quiros go off the front. Kiersgaard was smart, went from the back of the group through the group to the front. He gets the faster time. He will take 5 points. Quiros will take 4. Ola Warren will take 3. Scott Francis will take 2. And Florian Drummond 1 point away from that sprint. Remember, the wearer of the green skin suit is the leader in the sprint competition overall. So Category 6 starting to make the way into the subterranean tunnels that are the precursor to the Aguila climb. The Alto de Aguila coming up. The riders, though, have to go through this almost Tolkien-esque tunnel. Category 6, the first riders on the road at 36.6k. Big group of riders here, big bunch of riders on the way in through. They will be the riders who are going to hit the Monpok City Sprint first. I think the Monpok City Sprint coming at 39.2k, so about another 2.5 kilometers to go for them. Behind categories 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1 on their way. There's Stefan Van Elst from that A-Bus squad just out of the saddle. On the screen, but you can see they're down in the gels on screen. So refueling, getting the gel on board. Nutrition, one of the real key differences on the way through. Nutrition and hydration, one of the big key differences. So really interesting podcast with Kate McLeod on the Virtual Velo podcast. Well worth a listen about nutrition, about how to refuel. And reinforced to me why I ought to be better at my fueling on the bike. I have 3.5 hours yesterday, longest ride for a long time. Well, longest time-wise ride for a long time, and definitely needed to refuel. Not sure cake and coffee is the thing to race on the Sunday Race Club, but it definitely worked for me yesterday. The riders today, gels, which are faster acting, generally got a quicker response from those, really key. As Nuki here with Peter Molostic answering the moves on the front, and this continual attacking here by Mr. X100, really keeping the pressure on the riders behind, strung out in a long line. You can see the main bunch behind, and if we start to see a group go clear at this stage, 20 25.5k. So basically at half race distance, then they do have a chance of continuing in towards the finish. Really interesting move here, going up over this little riser. Only 5% up, 5% down, but it's enough to help break this group clear if they can keep the pressure on. They cannot yo-yo in pace. That's where you're going to find the group will come back. They need to keep a sustained effort, break clear, get the air in between them and the riders behind and keep clear. And that is absolutely critical. Another push comes from Mr. X100. Phil Graves pushing it hard as well here. And interesting, Phil Graves looking very strong today. I'm wondering how long it'll go, whether the wheels will fall off the wagon when it hits that final climb. Ika Morel, Todd Allen Young looking good as well, tucked in here, making sure they're in the right place. Tiago Clement, also one of our Portuguese riders in the mixing category 2. They move to the left-hand side of our screen. As on the right-hand screen, we're in with category 4. We're in with Luke Allport, the legend that is Luke Allport. In with the leaders of category 4. And the closer this gets to the climb without braking, the more and more he's got to be fancying his chances on this climb. 4.9k, 6%. Can Luke Allport climb to victory here today? And the answer is yes. Will he? Well, time will tell. No pressure, Luke. I'm sure you're going to be putting the pressure on those pedals. Category 4 heading into the tunnels. They'll come out the other side. They'll go through the Monpok City Sprint, and then the gradient starts to climb and it starts to go up. There are plenty of kickers at over 9% on the climb. Allport definitely still in contention at this stage in this leading group in category 4 at 36.6k. So this big group of riders heading towards that Monpok City Sprint at the moment. Category 4, the third of our sets of riders away. 6 race categories. Category 6 away first, then 5, 4, 3, 2, then 1. Our final race away. It's the same in the women's and the men's racing. At the moment, we're just on the rise up on to this boardwalk that keeps us above the water, that lays through the centre of the tunnels. Category 4 into the tunnels, a little bit further away from that with some distance to go till they enter those tunnels. It is Category 2. We're in with Khan Kane, who first came to our notice on the $1 million championship, the MyWhoosh championship. A really fantastic event. Do have a watch back. You can find it on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Great racing. 8 days, 7 stages, brilliant racing. Khan and Burken really coming to our attention then on the Sunday race club and on MyWhoosh on the racing. Brilliant racing, fantastic stage racing, great tactics, great sprint tactics. There were sprint prizes, climb prizes, a $1 million prize fund, the biggest prize fund in cycling esports at the time. I would love it to come back. Say we, because I know Emma and my co-commentator for that event feels exactly the same way, that we would love to see that coming back once again. But of course, the team on MyWhoosh very busy, not just with the Super Tri, but of course with the World Championships, the UCI's esports partner for esports cycling for 2024, 25 and 2026. Now, more attacks in category 1, and this time it is Johan Noren on the move. 7 watts per kilo coming from Johan as he pushed clear, settling down to about 6 watts per kilo behind Kaminsky, Knudsen, Kroll. The 3Ks in close attendance. Panitsa, Safrazadi, Van Elst also up there. That chasing group, that chasing pack just following on to this bridge. 5% climb up over the top of the boardwalk. The pressure goes on, the power goes up. They're not rushing to close him down at the moment. I think they're very aware that with one rider that it's nowhere near as dangerous. The only one rider I suspect they fear is the rider we're in with, and that is Michael Vink, because you don't let Vink go anywhere on his own. Not because he can't be let out in public, quite simply because he's just too blinking quick. Now, we're talking about the Monpok City Sprint. I'm going to try and get a little bit ahead of ourselves here, just to give us a little bit of sliding room, a bit like our riders should do when they come to the climbs. I'm going to give you some of the results from the Monpok City Sprint. That is the final sprint. Ericsson Perez taking that sprint from Rennie Olsen, Antti Järvinen and Tom Owen. And then you 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth place going to Thomas Dvorak in category 6. And in category 6, that's going to make it very interesting. We come to the end of the race. In category 5, it was Mark Dadson with the sprint through the segment fastest from Kersgaard, from Zimian, from Quiros and Kiddle. Now, that means I think Kersgaard should be taking away top spot in the sprint competition in category 5. Category 6, riders on the road. They're heading in towards the Aguila climb, currently at 41.4k. They've got about 3k to that climb. This is the leading group: Owen, Olsen, Newman, Perez, Fabi, Dvorak, Llewellyn. Those riders who've been battling for the sprints in there as well. They're on the right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, we have our lone leader. No surprises to see Dylan Kennett at the front of a race. Category 5 this time, Dylan Kennett at the moment, stretching out. Now, I know Michael Vink might deride his climbing abilities, but I think Dylan Kennett has got climbing abilities, and I have seen photographic proof that Dylan Kennett has indeed crested and beaten the one and only Michael Vink on a climb. So we'll see if Kennett has got his climbing legs on. He's needed his sprint legs for race wins. He's used them to good effect. Will he have what it takes today? Meanwhile, we're going to jump across. Mohamed Mokhtari having shed at least one layer there, the orange jersey that he had on earlier being shed, and just keeping the temperature down as he sits in with his group. Definitely a rider you can't discount with this climb finish here today. So careful breathing there by Mohamed Mokhtari, just keeping that nice and controlled there, not just gulping in big lungfuls of oxygen. So this group in category 5, they've gone through the Monpok City sprint, as has category 6, which we gave you both those results. Category 4 just going through, Nicholas Spratt taking the win in category 4 in the Monpok City sprint from Nick Scolari, Mason Rocker, Luis Castro, and I think Stefano Roncelli rounding out the top 5. So categories 4, 5, and 6 through the Monpok City sprint, through the final sprint of the day. So those points decided. The riders just got into the finishing line to finish the race, and they'll be rewarded with those segment wins for taking the fastest through the segment, and the overall leader, of course, with the overall prize. If you weren't here for the start of the show, might be worth a quick scroll back when you get to the end to the start of the show, because that we gave you the prize list for the men's and the women's races. You can see what those segment prizes translate to in US dollars. Of course, lots of different currencies available around the world. Okay, in with our latest category 1, over the top of a rise. No surprises to see, pressure on, pedal to the metal, keeping the chain tight over the top, and then driving into the descent to build momentum and to build speed here. Johan Noren, the rider who's clear off the front. We saw him go clear, and they've left him out there 7 seconds. Now, Johan Noren can climb. I've seen this man climb the outdoors. I know he can climb like an absolute demon. Will he be able to do so? He's got to get there first. But if he gets to the climb first, do not discount him for the race win. Meanwhile, category 2, it's it's like a blast from the past. Mr. X100 and Phil Graves out at the front of the race, sticking it to everybody else. The chasing group behind being chased. 2 Polish riders, Maciej Mendakowicz and Marcin Wozniak, the riders that are chasing. You can see Mendakowicz at the moment on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see his avatar center screen at the moment. They're coming up on the riders in front. And if these 4 riders can get together, they've got a 6-second gap to Bjarhead, to Bengston, Walter, Van Hick, Jesnowski, and all the rest of that group. This would be a great 4-rider breakaway. Graves, Mr. X100, Wozniak and Mendakowicz are coming. Can they get this together? Can they work together as a 4-rider breakaway? It might be worth our leading two just easing back on the pedals, just taking a bit of a breather, hook the chasers on, and then start to stretch it back out once again. Going to be key. Graves, though, not wanting to let the main group come back, and Phil Graves continues to push here. Now, does he know something we don't about Mendakowicz and Wozniak? He's really kicking on down here. It's nearly 7 watts per kilo. A response is coming, and the problem here for the two chasers is they are having to work their socks off. And you can see why Graves is doing it. Just taking a look back, the pressure is on behind. Krasnich is coming. He's got Stepanek, he's got Gombeck, Isnowski. It looks like Koistonen in there as well. They are chasing hard behind. These four need to get together. They're going to have to work. If they want to hold off Stepanek, or to hold off Gombeck, to hold off Morel, Milostic, and to not give that lead away, they really need to push now. In with Frederick Gombeck. He's coming up on the wheels of Stepanek. He's coming up on the wheels of Krasnich at the moment. They can see their target in front. The leading 4 riders are not far away. I think this is going to come back together again. We're going to see everybody back as one big bunch in Category 2. And if that's the case, that is going to leave the door open for another attack. And you wouldn't want to bet against Mr. X100 from leading that attack. Well, a quick bit of hydration for me as we switch across to the Category 5 riders who now hit the base of the Aguila Alto climb. You can see this is the front of the race. Category 5 leaders catching Category 4 leaders, Kennett and Pettersson. The two Category 5 riders leading this race out. They're the only two blue jerseys in sight at the front of the race. The nearest rider is just coming in towards the banner at the moment, and that means that Pettersson and Kennett's gap is substantial. It's looking at about 20 plus seconds at the moment to the riders behind, because they're at 45.2k and the chase is about 350 meters behind them. Now they've got to make this count. Peterson, Kennett. Peterson with the white helmet on there. Kennett comes up on his left shoulder. They know they need to keep the pace high here. They can't just rely on racing against the Category 6 riders, Smith, the Truber, Driscoll, Olsen and Paris, who are leading the Category 6 race, but they need to push on and they need to keep the gap back to the riders behind. We'll come back to that in a moment, because currently Category 2 are coming in through the White Palms sprint area at the moment as we hit the 35-kilometer marker, and you can see big sprint coming through there from behind, and Todd Allen Young at the moment holding the fastest time in Category 2, not matching Nicholas Spratt, interestingly, overall in terms of speed, but Allen Young from Morel, from Fawcett, and then behind in Category 2, just have to go quite a long way down into about 30th place for Khan Cairn, Mr. X100, Bert Cairn, then David Kowalski. Really interesting, the speed differential between these riders. The overall race battle in Category 2 is definitely affecting the pace. Those riders took that sprint and went through that segment. And the Wax Palm sprint number 3 of 4. So at the moment, Maciej Mendakowicz continues to push here. Mr. X100, Marcin Wozniak, Philip Graves, the riders that are not far away behind. It's an 8, nearly 9-second gap back to the chasers behind. So 4 leaders still clear on the front. I thought it was going to come back together. It hasn't yet. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, left-hand side, looks like Bjorn Andreasen, former world champ, on the move again. So hard to break clear, though, on this. There is no gradient increase. There's no trigger point. There's nowhere to multiply up any advantage you have. You've just got to go for surprise. You've got to try and break clear. You've got to hope that one or two riders go with you to help you with that draft. But Stefan Van Elst, Lyndon Milosti, and Joshua Harris very quickly onto the wheels. Now joined by Arne Jacobs. It looks like Christoph Kroll and Michael Knudsen moving up as well. This group not letting Andreasen go. They did it once. It cost them a world title. They won't do it again. And another Category 1 rider being distanced off the back of this group, losing touch. The moment you lose the draft of this Category 1 group, you're in trouble because they're traveling at 46 kilometers an hour. They've covered 34.6k. They've still got 15 kilometers to get to our finish. But at the moment, Category 1, that leading group, despite continuous attacks, staying together. Category 1, left-hand side of your screen. I'm sure many of these riders would wish they could emulate the 4 breakaway riders on the right-hand side of your screen. They are the breakaway for the leading 4 here. Mr. X100 saying that he's feeling the pressure. Well, he hasn't got time to relax. Wozniak pushes on over the top. All 4 need to work together here. They need to take their share as we drop back across to Olivier Simmons. Now, Olivier has been running in with the Category 1 bunch. He's used those riders to sprint through. He takes away the green skin suit. Michael Vink goes through on the attack behind. Vink, Van Elst, Kaminski and co are coming through now. Has Simmons done enough there in that sprint to take top spot? He hasn't. Todd Alan Young takes the fastest time through that sprint, but at the moment it is Simmons who is holding on to the jersey in Category 2. So Vink in 1, Alan Young on Category 2, Fourier for Category 3, Spratt for Category 4, Kersgaard for Category 5, and Hooker for Category 6. The riders who are taking away those segment prizes as long as nobody faster comes from behind. There's another counter-attack goes. They came through the sprint. There's another kick off the front. This time, Saeed Safrazadi is on the move now. He wants to break this up. He's got Andreasen with him for company. Andreasen needs to get on with this. Either get on with it or get out of the way because Kaminski wants to get onto these wheels. The pressure is on. Saeed Safrazadi, Bjorn Andreasen, Mikhail Kaminski would make an awesome threesome if they can get off the front here. They need to go clear. Andreasen picks up Kaminski on his wheel. Now he starts to put the pressure on. And now Andreasen and Kaminski are coming, but the bunch has reacted. They do not want to let these 3 go. They know the danger. And this is the problem in Category 1. Every single rider is a known danger. You don't get to Category 1 without being capable of springing a surprise, of being able to push on. If you get the chance, they don't want to give, say, Safrazadi and co the chance there. The chase is coming in Category 1, left-hand side of your screen. Meanwhile, right-hand side of your screen, it was Kenneth and Peterson who were clear of the rest of the group at the very front of the race in Category 5, but we've seen changes because the sprint leader in Category 5, along with Ricky Kittle, Mohamed Mukhtari, Patrick Mortek, have all caught and passed. Peterson, long-time breakaway rider Peterson with Dylan Kennett, well, the doors well and truly got blown off for him as they hit this climb. They're currently at 47.3k. That means that they are going to be 3,000 meters from the finishing line. And at the moment, Dylan Kennett has got the gap, but closing hard behind Sebastian Kersgaard, Ricky Kittle. It looks like Mohamed Mukhtari are chasing in Category 6. Junior Silva from Brazil. He is holding on to the wheels. He's holding 4th place overall. He's right up in the mix in terms of the overall. They are climbing strongly. So the leader in Category 5 is Dylan Kennett. The leader in Category 6, Junior Silva. They're both right-hand side of your screen, left-hand side of your screen. Nicholas Trujillo has got the lead, but he's got Hergard first company. He's got Christopher Morgan, Juan Restrepo, Christopher Morgan in here, Alberto Hernandez. Look at the volume of riders. Now, I make it 11 riders with a 12th rider on that yellow bike just closing on the wheels. So that will take us up to 12 riders in Category 4 still left in contention. This is going to be close because we've still got 12 riders in contention. We're at 47.1k, now 2k. They are fast approaching the top of this time. They're catching up with the leaders in the rest of the racing. And I'll tell you something, if they can get a move on, they've got 500 meters from them to the very front of the race to Dylan Kennett. Kennett holding 7 seconds to Kersgaard at the moment. The gap has come down. Dylan Kennett with 7 seconds to Kersgaard. Then it is Muktari at 16 seconds. And Muktari, Polka, along with Velada and the Category 6 leader, Silva, are all together. Kittle's in the mix as well. But it's now 10 seconds from Kersgaard and 16 seconds to Kennett. It's a big gap. Surely the leading two are going to be Kennett and Kersgaard. But what can the group behind do? 11 seconds from Kersgaard now. Kersgaard climbing away from the chasers. Kennett holding off Kersgaard, matching him at the moment. The distance is not coming down between the two. Meanwhile, Lewis Ridley in Category 3, leading Category 3, has gone clear of the rest of them. And boy, has he gone. He's opened the door, he's gone through it, he slammed it shut behind him, and he sprinted off away from the rest of the group. Henrik Oya, Maciej Skierski, Olaf Kochakov, along with Maciej Kalman, are all left chasing. 10 seconds a gap from Lewis Ridley, the rider on the left of your screen, in the lead to that pack that are chasing behind. You can see them spread across the road as the chasing pack leaves the boardwalk bridge and hit the tarmac. As they hit the asphalt, Lewis Ridley with the gap at the moment. He has to try and keep that though. And boy, this is a big group of riders. That's got to be 18, if not 20 riders in Category 3, chasing our solo race leader. They've got him down to 6 seconds here, and it's not all over for the riders behind. They've got distance, they've got ground, they can make this count. Ridley has shown and played his cards. He's got to try and erase the race that he set out in front of him. But behind they are closing. Orrego at 3 seconds. That gap is tumbling down, and Ridley surely is going to get caught. But by how many riders? Ridley, Orrego, Kalman, Becker, Kochikov, and now Lewis Ridley is caught. He can't afford to shut down completely. He's going to go out of the back of the group. He does. He's gone from hero to zero because he's gone from the front of the group to the back. And Ridley, after that solo attack, has gone. It's now Becker, Skierski, Kalman, Oya, Van Vellegem, East. The big group is here. And the one man who hasn't made it after that brave attack, Lewis Ridley. Left-hand turn here, the riders in Category 3 picking up a number of riders in Category 4. JJ Miller, Pierre Fell, Van Wellegem, all in here. Karlstrom's in here, Nickel Kansara. That's a man I'm sure who'd dearly love to take away a win here today. Adam Stemmen in here. This is going to be a battle to the top. Becker at the moment setting the pace on the front. As he catches riders, he can take that partial advantage. You can see as he goes behind the riders, his watts go to green. He gets that draft. He goes out on the other side. He needs to use every single one of those riders to his advantage because the pack behind can all take shelter from each other when they're not on the front. And they are pulling him back. Skierski's got it down to a second. It's about 10 meters, 3 bike legs, and counting at the moment as Skierski continues out of the saddle. Response though from Becker. He continues to push here. The next rider in front will be Paolo Kirchner, a Category 4 rider. That is going to take some catching, and I think it'll be a while before he gets there. It means that he's got a lonely push on the front though. Becker leading Category 3 onto the climb as we move across Category 5. The lead of the race with Dylan Kennett. Behind him was Skarsgård. It was 7 seconds last time. It's 6 seconds now. This is like a pursuit on the velodrome. We saw the women ride up and over in the women's race earlier. Well, this is a full-on pursuit on the climb. Skarsgård, the sprint winner, chasing Dylan Kennett, the figure in green. He's here. This is the man we're in with, Sebastian Skarsgård of Denmark, wanting to close down Dylan Kennett. Kennett's in the lead at the moment. They've 22 seconds to Juan Quiros, who's in third. And with him, Ricky Kittle, Yussi Pulaka, along with Mohamed Mukhtari, as well as Villada. So at 20 seconds, a big old group starting to form. Can they close this down? Can they get up to our race leaders? It's going to be Kennett and Skarsgård together. Now, is Kennett just waiting? Is he going to play that classic tactic? Holding off the pace, let Skarsgård get on, expend the energy to get onto the wheel, and then kick again. How much has Skarsgård got? He has been chasing. He's had to close this gap down. This is the front of the race. The polka dot banner that indicates the end of the climbing segment is around our tight left-hand turn that's coming up. We do this slight left, we do a right, and then the tight left takes us round to that climbing section, the front of the race in category 5 on the right-hand side. Your leader in category 6 on the left-hand side, Junior Silva at the moment. He stayed with the group of category 5 riders when they caught him. He's gone clear. He does have chasers in the pack behind him, and that means he cannot relax. He does have a bigger lead than Skarsgård has at the moment on Kennett, which is 1 second. But my goodness me, if he blinks, if he pauses, if those legs do fall off, he's going to be in trouble. Left-hand side leader in category 6. Right-hand side, your leader in category 5 coming onto your big screen. Skarsgård and Kennett were together. Skarsgård, the rider in the ascendancy. He caught back Dylan Kennett. Kennett needs to dig in deep now. He needs to find those extra reserves. This is where we see the mettle of the rider. This is where we see how much they've got inside. How much can they make this count? How much can they dig out? How much hurt can they suffer on the way to the top of this climb as Skarsgård opens up the throttle once again, 6 watts per kilo. He goes underneath the banner. Surely that's going to be enough to give him the segment win. It should be enough to give him the polka dot jersey. He's going to add that to his segment wins and to his overall win in the sprint competition. Has he done enough, though, to shed Dylan Kennett on the run for the line? We're approaching the 50-kilometer marker. We've only got to get to 50.3K. It's going to be just over 300 meters separating these riders right now between them and the finishing line. It's going to come up around the long sweeping right-hand turn. 50K gets past. Now, this is absolutely key. Skarsgård being pulled back by Kennett at 6 watts per kilo. Kennett will want to go straight past him. He's out of the saddle sprinting here. He knows this is the moment. He needs to get air. He does not want to turn to the finish. He doesn't want to let Skarsgård have a whitewash of all of those jerseys. Dylan Kennett goes again. This is where he needs that speed. He's a fast track. Can he be a fast finisher here today? He was an absolute force to be reckoned with when he was racing in category 6. He's in category 5. And Dylan Kennett now sprints his way towards the line. He's broken Sebastian Skarsgård, who's taken all the rest of the jerseys. He's going to take victory. Qualifier 1 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Victory. Another race victory. Dylan Kennett takes the win. So Sebastian Skarsgård is going to score a second place here today, as well as taking away the climb segment prize, the overall climbers prize, the sprint segments, and the sprint jersey win in the race overall in category 5. A little bit further back, we're looking for category 6 and for category 4 coming up towards the summit of the climb. I think Restrepo has passed all the rest of the category 5 riders, and that means he should be our next race finisher in terms of race winners. And I say should because behind him, although they've only got 100 meters to go, you can see a massive kick coming from Matteo Pinto, from Christopher Morgan. They're trying to close down Restrepo. Restrepo is the rider in the polka dot jersey in front. This is Morgan in the red. Morgan's got wins to his name already. Is it going to be Restrepo? Can Juan Restrepo hold him off? Morgan's coming up pace. Surely this is Juan Restrepo. Restrepo adds the overall win to the climbers jersey. He takes the win. A fast finishing Christopher Morgan is going to take second, and Pino comes through immediately behind him. What a finish there. We're going to have to wait for that confirmation. I think it was Restrepo from Morgan, from Pino, from Grohl in category 4, then Gonsolin and Hernandez. Now, category 5, Junior Silva. He was the man who latched on to that Category 5 group, Category 6 rider Silva. Junior Silva in the climbers jersey. He has a clearer run for the finish. He is out of the saddle, climbing to the finish. Junior Silva is going to take the win in Category 6 here today. He climbed away from the rest of Cat 6. He was able to go with the riders in Category 4 and 5. It shows the pace of the man. He takes the climb win. He takes the overall win in Category 6. So Category 6, the winner in Category 5 and Category 4 in. This is Category 3, a little bit further down the hillside here. And we're in with Stan van Vellegem at the moment. They are looking for the race lead. And at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Skierski. There doesn't look to be another blue disc in front, just trying to scan ahead, trying to find any more riders. But it looks to me like Skierski, the leader in Category 3. Behind him, Nicholas Spratt, the rider in the red jersey in Category 4, has just seen Nikhil Kansara come up onto his wheel as Skierski sprints around the side of Bianchi. He's going to be making his way. He's gone past Rosinek as well. Maciej Skierski at the moment, a man on a mission. He knows that the climb segment is round the left-hand turn here. That's where the climb prize will be awarded. He's got the gap at the moment. And Kansara, Stemman, Becker, Kochikov all chasing at the moment. This is the run for the polka dot skin suit. It's also, though, the run for the finish. Remember that we don't have far to go. 500 meters separates the polka dot banner from our finishing line today. Skierski goes through. He picks up that polka dot skin suit. He leads in at Category 3. Behind, we're looking for those blue jerseys, and at the moment, it looks to me like Nikhil Kansara is still the nearest chaser behind. He's got the yellow wheels, the blue jersey. He's about 5 riders back at the moment, but that will come down. Make that 4, make that 3. Third rider back now as they keep on coming up behind, and behind Kansara, they are coming as well. There are riders behind. Will they close the gap down? Can Adam Stemman close down Kansara? Can Kansara close down Skierski? Skierski's 8 seconds up the road, and Skierski's buried himself here. Now I just saw 7.5 watts per kilo come out from Skierski. He's the rider who's taken the climb when he can see the UCI banner up in front. This is the run for the line. He needs to make it to the man. You can see there's bodies scattered all over the hillside at the moment. Maciej Skierski goes to the climb. He takes the climber's jersey. He's going to take away the overall win in Category 3. Maciej Skierski wins here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Cat 3 win and the polka dot skin suit as well. So just taking a look down into Category 2 for the moment. We will try and keep up with our Category 3 results. Nikhil Kansara, in fact, confirmed in second place in Category 3 on your screen. So it's Category 2, Maciej Mendakowicz with a, wait for this, 36-second gap back to Stuart Miller. And Miller has got 5 seconds on Krasnich, 12 on Milostic, and Angus Bankston at 12 seconds as well. The front of the Category 2 race has been blown apart, and it's Maciej Mendakowicz who has opened up the gap. Stuart Miller is responding, but that gap is over half a minute on the road at the moment between Mendakowicz and Miller. That race is going to run and run. Meanwhile, we're back down with Category 1. They're on the climb as well. Michael Vink has got the gap, but look at this. That is a big group behind. Vink's attack has pulled him clear, but he's not going clear and staying clear. They are closing that gap down a little bit at the moment. That is coming down, and Tugel's leading the charge behind. Kaminsky, Jones, Van Els, Andreas, and Harris, a who's who of esports, chasing behind. Van Els nicely tucked in here. Tugel's, we know, climbs well. Andreasen, could it be his day? Surely we're going to see Serge Safrazeni continue his win of top 5 results as well. This is the group chasing Vink. The pace is high enough to get draft advantage, 27 kilometers an hour. That's about 16 to 18 miles an hour, depending on where they're fluctuating on that velocity at the moment. 47.4k covered. They've got to push Ross Fawcett at the moment, the category 2 rider climbing with them. I'll tell you something, Fawcett, had he been in at the very front of the race in category 2 coming into this climb, could well have been a force to be reckoned with. It wasn't to be, and he's further down the slopes. Michael Vink just coming up and going past Frederick Gombert as he come through up this climb. The front of category 2 is on the left-hand side of your screen. Maciej Mendakowicz, I tell you something, he's timed this surely to perfection. He's got the pacing right. You can see the challenges coming behind, but it's a long, long way back. And Maciej Mendakowicz, I think, has got the strength. He's got the ability to push all the way to the finish. He's at 48.8k. He's got 2.5 kilometers to go. Surely he's going to be able to maintain that pace. This is a pace that it might not be comfortable, but he's pushing on. Meanwhile, Michael Vink continues the attack. The gap is starting to eke out here. Look at that face of Vink. He's pushing down now out of the saddle. That characteristic style. He's not up high. He's not got those arms locked out. He's using that core strength. He's using his body positioning. He's honed his strength. He's honed his speed over the years. And Vink at the moment has the gap. But really interesting looking at the style of Michael Vink. Rather than dancing on top of the pedals, he's pushing through those pedals and really is making this count. Stretching the gap and now to 10 seconds to Bjorn Andreasen, who leads the charge behind Michael Vink, leader in category 1. Right-hand side of your screen. Leader in category 2, left-hand side of your screen. It was 30 seconds to Miller. Miller is coming after Mendakowicz at the moment. Maciej Mendakowicz, he's out of the saddle. He's got to keep on squeezing here. He knows that Miller is coming behind him. He also knows that he has got what is going to be 500 meters to go. What can he do about this? This is going to be key. Very, very interesting, this push. Sorry, we've got 1K to go. 500 meters to the climb banner. 1K to the finish for Mendakowicz. Miller is, look at the difference here. Miller sat down 78 revs a minute. He's revving compared to Mendakowicz, who's at 61 revs per minute. Miller's cadence higher, tapping along 22 kilometers an hour for Miller, 21 for Mendakowicz. Yes, they're on different parts of the course, but Miller is in the ascendancy here. Behind him, if he hesitates, Bengston, Walter, Van Heek, Thiem, Koistonen and Co are coming. It's a big pack. You can't just ride in the company. It's time to get out of that group and to show your cards. Time is running out for these riders behind Mendakowicz and behind Miller. They need to push on now. They can't surely just leave this to a sprint because they are potentially giving away first and second places. Are they going to be content with third? Of course they're not. They would love to have the win, but they've got to keep pushing. Mendakowicz leading at the moment. Miller sandwiched in no man's land between him and the chasers behind. 10 seconds gap from the chasers to Miller, and at the moment Miller is now 14 seconds behind Mendakowicz. It was 30, it went to 20, but Mendakowicz is holding it 13 seconds. 14 seconds the gap between Mendakowicz and Miller. Miller needs to find something special here. He was climbing quicker than Mendakowicz. He's lost a little bit of that speed, a little bit of that pace. It is fractionally steeper. Mendakowicz goes up here. He's going to take the polka dot skin suit. He pulls it on as he goes underneath the archway in category 2. Here comes Miller. He's going to hit that same point. You can see the gap between them. He goes underneath the archway here. So Mendakowicz leading. Can he add the yellow skin suit of race leader to the polka dot? He can't because Miller has gone up quicker because Mendakowicz's gap was bigger at the base of the climb than the gap between him and Miller at the top of the banner. It means that Miller takes that now. That is going to give him Miller added impetus. He's just pulled on the polka dot jersey. The bigger prize could await Mendakowicz, though. He wants the overall. He'd love that. It's a much bigger prize in terms of monetary value. There's more kudos for taking the win on a Sunday Race Club than just taking the climb or the sprints here. Maciej Mendakowicz is leading them. He's going through all sorts of shades of pain here as they come up behind him. Christoph Thiem is sprinting towards him. Can Mendakowicz hold him off? Bengtson is coming. It's 4 seconds. It's 3 seconds. The gap is coming down. Mendakowicz is trying to hold them off. Can Maciej Mendakowicz do it? He's surely going to make it. He goes under the banner. Maciej Mendakowicz buries himself to the line. He holds them off. Bengtson comes through 1 second back. A just reward for Maciej Mendakowicz, and you can see that smile on his face. What a win for Maciej Mendakowicz in Category 2. He comes through ahead of Bengtson in second, Van He in third, Koistonen in fourth, Walter in fifth, Morel in sixth, Thiem in seventh, Khan in eighth, Stuart Miller, after being the protagonist, the lead chaser for so long, he goes through in ninth place. It's Morstic in 10th, Santos in 11th. Okay, let's go back to Category 1, our last category of leaders left to get to the finishing line. Well, Michael Vink is leading them up this slope. It's maybe not as big a gap as we could have expected with his constant attacking. He's expending some energy in those attacks, but he had enough left. He's taken the fastest time up the Alto de Aguila climb here. Michael Vink pushes for the line here. He's buried himself. This is the last sprint now. Michael Vink comes to the top of the climb. He comes underneath the UCI finish. Your race winner, the fastest time of the day, Michael Vink, Category 1 winner here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Behind him, that's how close it was. Van Elst, Tugels go through in a sprint. It's Van Elst from Knudsen, from Safrazadi, from Mendakowicz. And in fact, it's updated faster than I can tell you. So Vink in 1, Van Elst in 2, Knudsen in 3, Tugels in 4, Safrazadi in 5, Harris in 6, Kaminsky in 7. As they went in and through, and they're still piling through the line at the moment in Category 1. What a race finish. Aggressive racing. It might have been flat with only a few bumps before we got to our final climb, but my goodness me, did the riders make them count. Michael Vink weakening the opposition by attacking time and time again. He didn't have it his own way by any stretch of the imagination. And in the end, it was 7.64 seconds, the gap between him and Stefan Van Elst. The Iceman takes second place here today. Michael Knudsen taking a third place, coming back into form. Tugels taking fourth, Safrazadi in fifth, Harris in sixth, Kaminsky in seventh, Jones in eighth, Plantero in ninth, and Bjorn Andreasen, one of our early attackers, taking 10th place. Don't forget, all of the race results, all of those split positions are on the MyWhoosh.com website. As we're going to follow some more of our top 10 in Category 2 coming in towards the line here. As we see Ivan Nuki in pursuit, Mendakowicz in 1 in Category 2, Bengtson in 2, Van He 3, Koistonen in 4th, Walter in 5th, Morel in 6th, Thiem in 7th, Karnkayan in 8th, it's Stuart Miller in 9th, Milostic in 10th, Santos in 11th, Krasnich in 12th, Downey in 13th, Damsgaard in 14th, Burt Kane in 15th, Damian Kiesnowski in 16th, Patrick Stepanek in 17th, David Darn in 18th, Simon Betts in 19th, Johannes Bjornhead in 20th. It's a packed race field in all of our race categories. You can catch up with all those results. Please do remember, don't just go on the MyWhoosh.com website and look at the results. Download, jump on board. It's available on iOS, Android, as well as on Windows. Come and join me on MyWhoosh. We'd love to see you racing on the Sunday Race Club. You can follow me at Matt Fixerpay and give MyWhoosh a follow at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. Qualifier 1 is done and dusted. I'm back next week when we come back for qualifier race number 2. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe by hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. A big thank you to our riders racing it out and giving it absolutely everything in our women's and men's races. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes and the broadcast team at MyWhoosh and everybody who makes the game happen. But from me, Matt Payne, stay safe. I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.